This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
Okay, I'm calling to order the meeting of the Ad Hoc Grant Search Committee for April 4th, 2022 at about 2:30. And we have some of our members here, Diana and myself as members of the grant committee so far, Mark and Aaron as members of the Greenway Committee, and Dan Rukakowski, I believe, from Ty and Bond. So welcome, everybody.
And Greenway Committee.
And Greenway Committee also. Okay, great. And I think we'll have a couple more members of our grant team coming, Ed and Kate. I'll let them in as soon as I see them. We really weren't going to follow the regular format for a meeting today with minutes and opening all of those kinds of things, because I think we really need to have a working session on the grant draft that has been put forth by Mark and Ellen in particular, and a lot of editing done by Diana. So Diana, thanks a lot for all your comments and edits here, and we'll pull up those documents in a minute and see where we want to begin. Dan, I don't know how long you can be with us. Yep, here comes Ed, so hang on. I don't know how much time you've got to spend with us today, Dan, because I wanted to hit you on some of the budget issues in particular.
Yeah, you have me until about 3 o'clock.
Okay.
And then I have another meeting I have to get to.
Yeah, okay, that sounds good. All right, hi, Ed.
Hey there, how are you?
Very good, very good. So we got a couple of us, and then Aaron and Mark and Ellen will be joining us, and then Dan Rukowski from Ty and Bond as well, and he's also one of the Greenway Committee members. And here comes Kate. Okay, so I think we may as well get started. I'm going to see if I can share a document here. I think we may as well start. Well, let me maybe start with one other thing. Hi, Kate. Let's see if we can open this one up here. There's so many different things in this set of information. So maybe, Mark, if you want to tell us a little bit about how you and Ellen proceeded here, because you went into the notice of funding opportunity and came up with this outline. So this would be something that would count as kind of the table of contents, the way I understood the NOFO?
Correct. This is meant to, the first page is meant to be table of contents, and the notice of the grant had a specific outline that they requested, and for the most part, it follows that with a little bit of breakout of detail. The thing that they put the most, my reading of it, the most emphasis on was the section 4, which is the merit criteria, and they listed there's 8 specific ones. So to me, that's in a way the most important thing, that we try to be consistent with what their ranking is. And they do have a table, which was on page 41 of the notice of
Yes.
the grant. So, but I tried to follow that and address the issues there.
Yeah.
I did want to apologize just briefly that I sent this out before Ellen had a chance to do edits, and probably when it was quite as clean as it should be, just because I want to get the process started, because the timeline was short. So I apologize for making extra work for people.
All right. Well, I think we can kind of run down some of these real quick. Let's just go down and accept some of these things. You changed the
Chris, is Ellen on yet?
Don't see her yet.
I'm gonna step away for a second, make sure that she's not having problems.
Oh, here, wait, she's coming in, just coming in. Hold on.
Okay, thanks.
Yep, just signing in. So I was hoping we can kind of go through and just accept these drafts, and I don't know if we can do that. Can we try that? Hi, Ellen, hopefully you're there. Hi.
I'm here.
All right, good. I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can accept it and say, okay. All right, we did that. All right. Moving on down, let's just see if we can run through these real quick. This was just typos, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
This was in order issue.
Yeah. The one I didn't see, I guess, when I looked at it just quickly, Mark, was the eligibility information as one specific thing, as a kind of a heading. I thought it went from the applicant information and location down to detailed project, but I could be wrong. So I don't want us to get, we need to actually respond to the instructions, obviously, but I don't want us to give something that isn't really required to in the wrong spot or anything like that. So that's
the eligibility is on 1C
Okay, well, we can check that when we come back around. That's fine. I know you've got it here. I didn't remember seeing it in the NOFO, so that's fine. We'll come to it later on. Okay, so this was prior funding for acquisition. Okay, you just moved it. Okay. Yep. So we'll just see if I can go down through these here halfway quickly here and get down to the meat of the body here, where we are here. And this was another one. Yep. Okay, good. And we don't actually have to do the benefit cost benefit analysis. So I'm wondering if we should take that out.
Your judgment, I thought sort of saying we weren't ignoring it, but
Okay,
in some form.
yeah.
We were trying to follow instructions, but not
Okay.
ignoring it, but
No,
I'll leave that
that's
up to you.
That's fair. I mean, that is one thing that, is not required because of this being a planning grant and so forth here. So let's just kind of look at this. And again, thanks a lot, Diana, for doing lots of good commentary and edits and typos and things in here too. So just, I guess, one thought I had is just whether we could tighten this first couple of sentences. And I guess my thinking at the time was requesting raised grant funding for planning, design, engineering, and permitting for a new rail trail on this length of inactive corridor in Southampton that has been acquired through a negotiated rail banking arrangement. Just to, I don't know if that tightens it up, but that's too wordy for my editor there. Diana, any thoughts on that? It seemed like it was a little bit, we could tighten it up. I don't quite get a sense that there's any spaces that we have to fill in. Some claims applications you're required to limit it by word or character. This looks like we can do a narrative. It's got to be, as I looked at other instructions, I think it's got to be in a Times Roman 12 point or something maximum. So we may have to change the font on all of this at some point in time, but I think it's just going to be a Word document that we actually PDF and enter in, rather than filling in spaces in an application, the way I'm understanding it. But
Yes, can I make one point?
Yeah, I think you could
There's a
combine
s-
those first two easily.
Yeah, I think combining is good. There's a separate form that we have to fill out that has a project description, which does have to go into a box, and that's less than 100 words, but it's a different form that we can look at, okay?
okay, all right, all right. So we, yeah. So let me just see if this works.
Okay.
Something like that, maybe.
We can even get rid of the town of Southampton, because that's part of the other
Yeah.
sentence.
Yeah,
That has been acquired.
in Southampton, yes, right, thank you.
You can also just say engineering design instead of splitting design and engineering.
Okay. Oops, all right, here, come on, back here. So just put engineering design here, okay? I'm just gonna planning, engineering design, and permitting. Okay, perfect, that's good. Yeah, just, yeah.
We need to reword a little bit. 3.5 mile length of inactive railroad corridor in Southampton that has acquired through a negotiated rail banking arrangement. Needs to
Has
be
been-
It has
tweaked.
has been acquired.
Yes.
Inactive railroad corridor that has been acquired.
So that's a true statement. Has the rail been acquired, or will it have been?
Well, hopefully we will have been. Ed, you can tell us any recent information on that. The rail banking agreement is underway. And
Correct.
we'd hope to have it by the end of June. We're not sure that we will by the end of June.
Right. We and the railroad have signed the rail banking agreement. However, there is now a bunch of processes with filing with state and federal agencies to move through that. So that could take anywhere from 3 to 9 months.
Oh,
So September might be the reality more than anything else,
oh.
rather than
Right.
June.
So then is it inaccurate or risky to say that the town has acquired it, as in it's already been done?
It's like is acquiring.
It's outright not true.
Yeah. So
Never mind risky.
how about is being?
Yeah, it's in the process of acquiring.
Yep,
Yeah.
sounds
And
better.
I would actually state that, both the town and the railroad have signed the rail banking agreement and are, like I say, now working through the state agencies on that process.
Yeah,
We can
there's a
probably add
section
that down
later
below.
that may be appropriate to add that into when they're talking about the what is it? Previously completed steps, and there's one that's talking about,
Mhm.
Mark, you know what I'm,
So
There is
later
a
on,
place.
yeah, probably later on, not right in this brief
Later
summary
on.
though, right?
exactly.
Okay.
exactly.
That the in Southampton that is in the process of, wait a minute, that doesn't read now. Engineering design,
But-
that is in the process.
So just make it that Southampton process.
Yeah, corridor that Southampton right here. Thank you. Something was wrong. That Southampton,
Is in the process.
is in
Of
the process of
acquiring.
acquiring through a negotiated rail banking agreement. Okay, that's a little bit better. We'll look
Yeah.
at it 5 more times
Yeah.
without belaboring this
Thank
one
you.
thing. Will enable the town to complete this planning design process. Okay, sense of sale. So we can get part of the rail trail system in Massachusetts. Okay, improve it by. Okay,
And that, we might consider just eliminating that last sentence, because we do go into more detail later on about the specific connections.
okay. And again, I think there's a brief summary and there's a detailed summary. So do we want to we'll just hold that? Maybe I'll just make a comment. So we
Well,
put it,
can I
Yeah.
say one thing?
yeah,
So part of it, I was trying upfront to go back to those merit criteria and sort of make sure that they know that we're paying
Mhm.
attention to what we consider the merit criteria. So it's there's duplicating, but there was a purpose. So people decide whether it's appropriate to address them right up front or not.
yeah, okay. So is that related to this last sentence specifically, Mark, or
Even more the last sentence of the next paragraph.
the next paragraph?
So, yeah, you're probably right. We can get rid of the last paragraph of the first sentence and we address it down below.
It's probably important, though, not to say that we're actually connecting the two, because we're not. We're simply getting closer, but we're not actually making a full connection between the two
Mhm.
rail
Right.
trails.
Yeah.
So maybe it's better to just eliminate that sentence.
So I think getting rid of it here, and then when we describe it below, I use slightly different wording.
God. Mm. Okay, that's just a reminder. We'll just hold it right there for now. Or we'll come back and just so we don't lose that language if we need it, but we'll
Okay.
keep on, okay? Add economic and where, right in here somewhere?
Mhm.
What was that? Oh, that was something I did. What was my comment here? I forget. I don't know what my comment was.
Yours was,
Omit and add what? Kate, you had something there?
No, I just happened to be clicked there because I was reading down it as you were reading it.
I'm not even sure what I was thinking about, so never mind me for now. And Diana, this was just basically rewording with a stronger set of descriptors here, connecting the rail trail.
We should probably put, instead of connecting, going back to Dan's points, to say expansion of
Yeah,
trail networks or
expanding is a good word. Extending.
Extending, maybe, rather than connecting,
Mhm.
or well,
And corridor instead of corridors.
yeah. Okay, let's see if that works a little bit now. Extending the rail trail corridor will reduce greenhouse gas emissions, air pollution, use of asphalt. Okay, sounds good. And then
That's
this was
going to
a-
go back a second. They use the language connecting as an important part of the merit criteria. So just keep that in mind as we make
All right.
these corrections.
Yeah, well, the ultimate goal is to connect them. So we're advancing that process.
Yeah.
No, just,
I think that's safe to say.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's, we don't want to give the impression that we're going to be doing the other part down toward Westfield. I mean, I think that is the challenge there, where we don't want to overstep our boundaries in that, but we want to be responsive to what they're asking for. Okay. I don't know what my comment was. I'll have to think about it and come back. I'm not going to waste time on it now.
One thing I will say is there's other therebys about increasing the physical, economic, and social well-being. Like, I think it's not only directly attributed to reduce of greenhouse gas emissions and air pollution. Like, I also feel like it's just as important to highlight the physical and like social aspects of the, I don't know if it's as important with this particular grant.
they do.
Later on, I think it gets into that. I mean, this is just sort of the brief summary. And then the detailed summary, I think, gets into a lot more of that language that we've used in other grants.
Yeah.
Looks like you need to add a line there.
We're about, oh
to
yeah,
community.
right here. Yeah, okay. Well, I don't know why it's holding that. Okay, don't do that now.
Oh, look what it did. It added a
No, that's
B,
good. That's good.
It's okay, it's okay.
Maybe the word thereby should be and, or a connect, like, because it's all of those things.
Where are you talking, Kate?
I
Sorry.
agree.
Oh, I
Instead of
see.
thereby.
And
It's
improve.
not,
the-
because it's not just because of, I feel like the word thereby
Yeah.
implies that it's only related to greenhouse gas emissions, pollution, and fossil fuels, but I really think it's an and, like it's,
I agree.
Yeah, and thereby it sounds a little archaic, so you could say and improve.
yeah. And I think that's a really important, powerful statement.
Okay, got it.
Good.
Moving on. Okay, applicant information, we got that pretty much. All right. So then this eligibility part. So this, so again, we don't, the plan including, kind of redundant there a little bit. So this has
That
not
change
been-
that I made later on
Yeah,
just
so this,
was to eliminate redundancy.
right, so here we have to do is being concluded, is being completed, the acquisition.
Is it in process?
Right?
I
Yeah.
think being completed is
Or
closer to
is
being
near
completed.
completion.
I like near completion.
Is near completion.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, with, should we say, I mean, the town has signed the rail banking agreement and it's now with the lawyers.
I think we should
I
do
think-
that down below.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not in this section.
All right, is near completion. Okay, we'll go with it. So I'm going to go back to Dan's thing here about engineering design. Again, now this is sort of again, we
And permitting.
start getting a little bit redundant already, but it is required before Mass DOT's permission. Okay. All right, so is one of the last missing sections of the regional trail network.
I agree. We can delete that. It's repetitive.
We believe this with this planning
There you go.
project.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Meets the raise, safety level and climate. So is a word missing here.
Is it missing or is it supposed to be climate sustainability?
Climate sustainability is there.
Is that what it's supposed to be?
Actually, they use environment sustainability as their language. So we probably should change climate to environmental.
Environmental sustainability. Yeah. Great.
Okay, we're there.
Yep.
All right, we got a P there. So now we come into the detailed stuff. All right. And Dan, before we lose you, guys, let's hold off on this a minute. Can somebody pull up the timeline and budget? I made this shareable, so maybe
Two
Mark, can you
things.
put that- I'll stop sharing this for a second. We'll pull it
Okay,
back up.
the budget is only in the narrative. There's not a separate budget. If
It's
if
not.
that's the first thing. If you, down below in section, actually E of this section is the budget.
Okay,
And
so
then
the
there's more
question,
detail.
the question I had, one of the documents you sent forward was an Excel sheet that had the 2 tabs with a timeline, but that says mass trails in it. So that doesn't, that was just
Well,
reference.
Well, no, if you look at the timeline, I changed, we have to modify it before I send it, but there is a raised grant timeline. That's the second part of that. The grant part of it, we can decide if we need to do it together, but the second page of that is the timeline, which we can look at separately.
Can you pull
But the-
that up offhand? Can you access it quick? Because the, and I just wanna-
Within this,
If it-
I'm like actually on an iPad for this and
okay,
on my
hold on.
computer for the thing. So it's called, if you, the draft rate,
Hang on, I can find it here. Hold on. I think I can find it.
it says draft raise budget and timeline.
Yeah.
You want
let
me
me
to pull it up, Chris, or?
I think, yes, no, if you can, I thought I could share it. I'm not catching it right now. Go ahead, Kate.
Can you see my screen okay?
Yep, there it is.
Go to the second tab, because there's nothing in this part of it. Down below, there's a timeline, lower left-hand corner.
Oh, I see it.
So that has the details for this. The budget is going to be, would have been erased or done separate.
Okay, so question then. So this is the raised grant application timeline that is required.
Yes.
Okay, but going back to that first tab is what confused me, because
Sorry.
that says the mass trails in it. So this first tab shouldn't exist at all, right?
Unless you want a separate breakout. I put the budget actually in the narrative. So I think we would get rid of this whole page, which I can do later.
So we'd only keep the Excel timeline part.
Yep.
Okay, because that's, I thought, yeah, because in here, when you go back to the first budget, it said mass trails in one of those columns. When you go back to the first tab there.
Yes. So that
Yeah.
was that whole page meant to be deleted unless people think we need a separate page.
Okay, well, that was going to be my question for Dan, from the tie-in bond point of view here. As we try to break out anything on the budget, I mean, we're asking for whatever, 900,000 or some magical amount of money, right? For this design and engineering and planning and permitting. Should we break out something like this, and would you be able to help us do that kind of subcategory listing of, permitting services, design services? I don't know what we need to do, and I'm not sure how you did it, Mark. Maybe you've already worked on this with Dan, so apologies if you have. But we can, if we can get rid of that part of the workbook, then that simplifies it all together. But I just didn't know if we needed this kind of documentation in general, because I think it says that we can apply for this over a 2-year period, right? But we need to be clear on our timelines such that we can only, I guess, get reimbursed, right, for monies that are used within the specific times that we've allocated. Am I right on that?
My reading is you only get reimbursed once you've completed the task. Yes, they don't pay ahead of time. They pay for.
Right, but if the task is to, I don't know, whatever, initiate a survey or carry out a survey, once that part of the task is done, I mean, that's a task. Permitting is another task. I mean, I don't know, Dan, is that how these things usually go from your point of view? You've probably had more experience than we have on these.
I'd say if they're not asking for it, then we don't need to include it.
Okay, I like that.
But if there's some reason to get down to that specificity, I can help generate some of those numbers, for the grant purpose. But if they're not asking for it, I wouldn't do it.
Okay, good to know. All right, then that's fine. All right, so we can stop sharing that then, because then we'll know that we need to break off that workbook and just keep the timeline part. Right? Is that what we're saying?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, Kate, you can get rid of that and then we'll go back. Then that's better, I guess.
Their requests are pretty vague, by the way. They just say cost for the FY raise project.
Yeah.
So they're,
Yeah. It is kind of crazy how they've got some of this stuff laid out here. I don't know. Whoops, I got the wrong document. Hold on. Is this where I was? I think so.
Yeah.
Are we sharing? You see it
Yes.
or no?
yes.
Okay. Alrighty. I think this is where we were. So,
Do you want to look at the budget with Dan?
sure, we can do that. How far down was it? I forget now.
That's under F in this section.
Right
so
here, F?
Yeah.
Right here, yep. Okay, yeah, and this was actually part of a question for Ed, I think, too. So I'll back up just a tad here because we get a little bit more of the narrative here. Oops, if I can do that. Come on. Of course not. Okay, you just don't want to cooperate with me. Give it a rest. There we go a little bit. All right, sort of. So anyway, we have noted what? So we've noted that there could be 100,000. We don't think we need to provide any matching from what we've read on this instruction for these rural grants, but if need be, we could offer this 10% match, which would be the 100,000 from CPA, but knowing that that might get used. If we don't get this, we'll be using that money elsewhere anyway. I guess one of my questions was whether this was going to be sufficient. I'd shot a note over to Ed, just allowing for some time for yours and Randall's time, just dealing with, all sorts of state issues or DOT issues that I know you've been dealing with the East Street Bridge, et cetera. Is an hour a month realistic? Is that too little? Should it be more? And then if we were going to be doing more for educating and getting input from the citizens, I thought maybe we could take a look at increasing that up a little bit, but I'm open to hearing anybody's thoughts. So
the one other thing is the last one I listed, I think we probably should get rid of it because it's too non-specific and just hide it someplace else if we think we need them.
Yeah.
Increase administrative hours.
Add it in somewhere else. Yeah.
I'd say the consultant fees are probably a little on the high end there.
Yeah.
So if you need additional budget for town functions, then certainly you could take that out of the consulting fees.
What would be a reasonable fee?
It's hard to say off the top of my head, but I'm thinking it's probably more of like $400,000 to $600,000 as opposed to $1 million. I could consult with some folks here and get a better estimate if you think it would be helpful.
One of the things is the minimum amount of this grant is $1 million. That's,
right.
Yeah. We're starting with that.
Mm-hmm.
If we use $1 million for the design, are there any other costs that we haven't included in this grant that these funds could be used for, like early stage planning?
You could have a contingency for environmental issues. I know nothing much came up on the phase 1, but if something was to unveil itself, it could certainly cost some money.
Yeah, this is not unlikely because that was an issue with the Easthampton rail trail right off Coleman Road. There was asbestos. And
there was a vermiculite.
It was very expensive and
there.
took them a long time to deal with that.
Of course, you won't identify that until construction too. So that's another rub. But I have to get on to another meeting right now, so I gotta go. But if you'd like me to try to get an overview estimate of consultant fees, I can reach out to some folks.
That would
That would
probably
be great.
Yeah,
Okay.
that would be great.
All right, I will do that. And, but I gotta go now, but I'll get
Yep.
back to you guys.
Okay,
Thanks, Dan.
good. Yep,
Okay.
thanks, Dan. Good to meet you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for coming.
You're welcome. Bye.
Yep, and so
Well-
Ed, you know, based on your work with Randall and the East Street Bridge and all the craziness we're going through there, what could we include in here that would make some sense? That we, you know, I don't know that we can eat up a couple $100,000 worth of those consultant fees, but I kind of agree with Dan that 995 looks pretty high for a design permitting kind of activity, but who knows?
But again, the narrative further down says, based on talking with other places, they're talking about a 15 to 25% cost of the construction, which gets us to actually to 1.2 million.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
it's not inconsistent with what we've been quoted from PVPC and
Right.
and Easthampton and
Mm,
Westfield.
Yes.
So
I was
Can
gonna
I
make
just
that
also
same
add that
comment.
that $6 million estimate was given a couple years ago, and I'm just saying with inflation and other I mean, the actual costs might be higher than $6 million.
for the construction,
The
but that's
actual
all,
construction.
right, but that's all that's been put aside, though. We can't increase that part right now.
Well, what I'm saying is if we're saying the design cost is usually 15 to 25%
Mhm.
of the total construction costs.
Yeah,
And we don't actually know that the construction costs are gonna cost $6 million. I think it's fine to err on the side of.
yeah,
the
Okay.
caution.
this is about 16% right now.
Yeah, that's not
15?
that.
okay.
Mhm.
All right, well, I just want to be sure that we're not leaving out some stuff. So two things. So one question for Ed in terms of the hours and the hours really involved. And then for Diana, based on some other cost of educational materials that I know you've worked with before. So Ed, maybe jump in first.
Well, I would probably say whoever's filing the reports on this, which are usually quarterly, which will probably end up being me, I think 1 hour per month is probably on the slim side. I would probably say a minimum of 2 and maybe 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
2.5, okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
yeah.
Okay.
All right. And
I-
for each UN Randall.
And well, I would probably say do 1.5 or 2 hours per month for the highway superintendent.
Okay, 1.5 for Randall. Let's do that.
Yeah.
So just to clarify, when I redo this, we're gonna have your meeting time broken out separate from filing time, is that right? Ed,
What's that?
so I just want to clarify, when I'll rewrite this, we're gonna do an hour a month of meeting time for you, plus the 1.5 hour of, I'm sorry, 2.5 hour of filing time, is that
I
correct?
would just call it administrative time. I wouldn't break it out at all.
So three or 4 hours a month then?
Yeah, 4 hours total between the two people.
Four, okay,
Yeah.
I'll do that. I'll
Yeah.
redo this whole section. then,
Okay. All right. And then Diana, what I had in mind was, you know, again, I think we've got to build up some community support for this project again. Just because it sat for so long. And the thing that came to my mind was what Open Space had done when they sent out, you know, that the Barnes Aquifer postcard.
Mhm.
And I'm thinking we might have
Right.
had.
No, it was a brochure.
It
It wasn't a piece.
It was
No.
it was a brochure or something went out anyway. I forget exactly. Okay.
Yeah, I think it like.
Um, Yeah, and I know we had some probably free design cost in that, if I'm recalling, which I wouldn't want to count on. I'd want to cost that. But then just if we
Mhm.
had estimated whatever, if we had an idea what our postage was on any of that, do you have any recollection on that at all from Open Space, or could we find that?
I could ask Charlie McDonald.
Okay.
He was
Or-
the kind of the,
Yeah, or if we just said, you know, I mean, I don't know that he did any, it was a mailing to all households. So even
I
if we just
I
said,
don't remember.
yeah, if we just said 2,500 households times whatever it might have been,
If you want to just a postcard, that's different from, you know.
right?
Why don't we just put in $2,500 for the whole thing? Cost of education seeking it from 800 up to 2,500.
Okay, something like that.
Do we have to, will there be any other town meetings that will need to be a part of this planning process? Or like any other bigger events that will require votes, Chris or Ed?
what will have to happen here.
Some kind of public forum.
Yeah, we've got to do more outreach meetings probably. So all
Right.
the, during the
Which you were
design,
alluding to.
yeah,
The grant, within the body of the grant, we say that it happens with each quarter, 25%, 50 and 75%.
And
There's
that's a
like initial-
requirement.
Yeah, it's a requirement. So
Of
that
Mass
that means
DOT.
that there'd be at least 3.
mhm. So should we,
I think it's up like, I think that's something that we can deal with if we get the grant.
yeah, I mean, that's nothing that we have to really put in here. Okay, that's what I
Right.
didn't know. Okay,
Right.
all right. All right, so I just made a note there that we'll come back to. Okay,
So
that's,
just specifics, the Ed's time is going to go up to $6,240 and $3,900 for the highway department. So
okay,
I'll put that in later.
Okay,
all right. Yeah, and I think, combined administrative and meeting, I don't know,
Mhm. I'll change that.
something along that way. I mean, if you wanted to, I think it's okay to break them out though, Ed, wouldn't you, for town administrator and the highway department? I mean,
yeah, sure, yeah,
we just call one, more, it'll be, administrative and meeting times, whereas Randall will be much more just meeting times, probably. I don't know.
probably.
Technical meetings, I don't know. Whatever you want to call them. Okay,
I guess my feeling about the top number is that we can make it whatever it is when we've increased the others so that it comes up to 1 million.
yes,
Right,
Right.
I'll
I'm
recalculate
not
that.
really worried about that 995, given what the other surrounding towns have told us.
yep, no, that's fine. That's fair. All right, so we'll run back up here. Was there anything, this is gonna take us a while and I don't know how efficient this is gonna be to do it this way. Ed, assuming that you may not be able to hang in forever, there was just the whole issue of how we want to treat the notion of not really connecting with Westfield as part of this grant, but knowing that we would be exploring future connections with the town of Westfield or something like that, but nothing.
Yeah, or simply saying, both Southampton, the town of Southampton and the city of Westfield are, moving forward or planning so that these two portions of, whether you call it the Greenway project, whether you call it bicycle path project or whatever, will eventually connect
Mhm.
and leave it like that.
Yeah, okay. All right. Does that make sense, Ellen and Mark, on that?
Yes, it's one of the trickier parts of the wording I was
Right,
trying to figure out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like, they can't control or do anything about the sections that are in Southampton, and we can't control or do anything about the sections that are actually physically in Westfield.
right. And we do want to be clear that we're just going to Sheldon's. We're not doing anything more. So
Correct.
at this point in
Absolutely.
time, yeah. All right, what's happened here? Okay, so I'm losing this. Okay.
Unless there's leftover money.
No, we don't want to mention that at all. It's a sore subject,
I
Yeah.
brought
which we
that
do
up
not
earlier.
want to bring up at this time.
Yeah, because last time it raised a whole hornet's nest, so.
Yeah.
When we started to go beyond Brickyard Road area, so,
Yeah, I even got calls this time to find out where the termination point was.
really, okay.
Yeah.
All right, and one thing while I'm thinking about it, I did put in a call to Congressman Neal's office. His communications person is out of the office till tomorrow, so she's supposed to call me back and see if maybe they would be willing to do a letter of support. And I did call Markey and Warren's office and just left a message. Nobody was home. So,
Just and minor thing, those are the things that can actually go in later than the April 14th deadline, apparently.
is that true? Okay,
If I will confirm that, but I remember that
Okay.
from reading.
okay, good to know. All right, so let's
But
continue
don't
here.
tell those folks. Don't tell.
No, we'll still go with the usual here. All right, where did we leave off? We were down here somewhere, right? I forget where we are.
Detailed project description D.
Yeah. Where's, somehow these are not matching up. Why is that? Didn't we do these already? No? What happened?
You left the yellow up there because of the wording.
I know, but-
On A.
Okay, all the comments from Diana. Where did this one go here? Okay, there it goes. It's just, it was not
Yeah.
lining up for some reason. It's like, what happened here? Okay. Got it. Yeah. Okay, I think are here, maybe. We'll try that. And hopefully.
This is in the process of,
Are we in this?
Has nearly acquired.
Yeah, this
Nearly.
Is
We have to say it again.
Acquiring.
Do we have to, so could we make this? Could we leave out the word acquired and just say this 3.5 mile
Mhm.
stretch, whatever section of the
I
previous?
thought just
enactment?
say is acquiring, that suggests the process and without
yeah,
repeating
Mm,
that again.
that.
is acquiring. All right.
yeah.
Yep.
I think we have to show that we actually have possession, or we will have some level of authority over this, maybe. I don't know. That's a challenge, I guess. All right, let's see if we can,
I would tend to go with nearly acquired, but I'll leave that up to the group.
all right, well,
Acquiring is, it's a little bit cleaner sounding. And I think it's adequate.
I think we got it. All right, moving on. I don't know if I've got all these. I think I do, so replace there with it's got that.
The only thing is, we have acquired, well, we have the funding to acquire it.
Yeah, but we haven't.
That's listed down. That's listed
No,
down
but I'm
below.
just saying in that sentence,
Uh-huh.
Southampton is acquiring through local and state funding, has, or
Yeah,
it's
but
really
we-
just a technicality, right? Like,
Well, it's a big technicality. We have to actually close on a real estate deal. It's
Mhm.
not just having the money. We have to really close on a real estate deal. Essentially, that's what it is. And that's what that whole
Mhm.
rail banking thing is. It has to get approved by the state and then registered at the registry of deeds and the whole bit. So until that happens, we don't own it.
Mhm.
So that's the challenge. I mean, and that's what makes it so weird to word this correctly without stretching the truth a little. We want to be positive, but not overstate
You can
ourselves.
say is in the final stages of acquiring,
So,
or you can just say is acquiring, because it is a process.
yeah,
Yeah, and it's mentioned below, so it's okay.
let's keep the words to a minimum. I think this is okay.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's fine. So Dinah, you were suggesting taking out, oh, because you put it down further.
No,
Okay.
no, I was being facetious.
No, but the tax base, you put that down below. No?
I think is acquiring, or
Yep. No,
As-
I think is acquiring is okay. I was on the next sentence.
they all
Debbie.
amount to,
Yeah, I was on the next sentence about Southampton
Oh,
is a
next
small town.
Yeah.
I just moved that
Okay.
further
yeah.
down because it just seemed like it was out of place there.
Okay.
And I suggested that we remove all the statements about the county system being weak, just because it was not necessary and not nice.
Well, actually, no, that's an
true.
important point someplace in here, because
But it
most,
does say that. It
It
Most-
says
may be
yeah.
true, but I don't think it serves us to blame the
Right.
county. I mean, why don't?
well, no,
Right.
most states have county systems that normally would do this project.
Mhm.
I
That's
think
right.
Massachusetts is unusual in leaving it to small towns. And I
Yeah.
think at the national level, they need to understand that where we put that in the body
Yeah.
is a
It
different
it does
story.
say that still,
Well, I
though.
think you can say that without the pejorative term.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm
Limited
saying.
is better.
I think limited is a better term than weak.
Yeah.
Or
So
you
I'm-
can just say the county government system does not take responsibility for this
Yeah,
type of
that-
project.
Okay,
The
Okay.
result is a challenge, so the last two things were, the result is a challenge for small towns like Southampton, but then you can, or you can say Southampton is a small town of 6,220 residents with a small tax base, making this an insurmountable challenge to undertake without grant assistance.
yeah, it's true.
In other
Excellent.
words, because we're so small and the towns have to do it, and it's an expensive project, we can't do it without help.
Yep. And then the sentence before that where it says, we have also been notified, so that can that be Southampton has?
Let's see, where are you talking about?
Right above where you were, it says, we have also been notified, just because the rest of the
Yeah.
section doesn't use the word.
So the
Yeah,
third
like
sentence in that
first
Oh, way up
paragraph,
here, like the fifth or sixth line
fifth
down.
line down.
Yeah,
Southampton has also been notified. Oh, yeah.
Has, yeah.
And so if you like there's sort of a choice between those two last sentences.
I think yours is better. Ellen.
So
The-
what do you want
In
to say?
other words,
wanna-
omit.
Yeah.
Starting with the result is a challenge for small towns, omit that sentence and the or colon and leave Southampton's a small town of with a small tax base. That's just explaining why we need the grant.
And then you can get rid of the previously stated or.
I think she did that or,
I tried to,
Okay.
but it
oh,
didn't.
yeah.
Yeah, Southampton small tax base, making this and
And, yeah, right.
I think that works. Does that work?
Maybe we can eliminate to undertake. It's an insurmountable challenge without grant assistance.
Good.
How's that?
Good, that's better.
We like it. All right, we'll go with it's going in there. Here, this was just my comment about whether we wanted to, this made it sound to me like the aside unpaved equestrian path was going to be all over the place. I think it's only going to be toward Grindstone, no?
Yes, it
Well,
does
it
say
said
that
right-
later. It does say that specifically
So that's
further
what, that
on.
was my question about, do we want to just specify that it's,
It says where feasible.
where, okay. Okay, well, maybe that's good enough. That's okay. Yeah, it was just the way I read it the first time, because I didn't want it to sound like we were gonna do a parallel equestrian path the
No,
entire way. Okay, that was my reading of it, I guess. All right. Quarter stated, okay. Sometimes it's just easier to read these as we delete them, and then you can double check it again and make sure that it makes sense here.
mhm.
Stated this would be for non-motorized.
And then you have to do something about stated this. Is that
Stated that,
something?
stated that,
Town funding. No, I'm sorry.
How about just, town funding for acquisition? Stipulate that this. is-
Stipulated.
Stipulated that.
lated or lates? Lated?
Past tense, right? We already voted on the CPA funds. That was the language.
Okay. Is that right? Okay. We can always go back and do another edit through here if we had to, but
Mhm, yeah.
town funding stipulated that.
It's
How
just,
How about the trail?
Stipulated it would be for non-motor traffic. The rail, co-
Stipulated it would be.
I
Okay,
mean, the
the rail
thing is
corridor
that,
would-
that just, you're just supposed to keep all the verbs in the same tense as much as possible.
Yeah.
So you could say stipulates.
yeah, you could, like the
stipulates,
literary present.
Stipulates.
yes,
It
Yeah,
will
that-
be, it will
That's
be,
fine, yep.
just
it
to,
would be or will be.
will be. It stipulates that it will be. In other words, we don't have a choice.
Yeah, Diana, you agree? Yep,
Yeah, that's fine. It will be for non-motorized traffic.
okay, we got it. Perfect. We like all the those guys. All right. Keep on coming down here.
This, the paragraph that says the Southampton Greenway provides, that whole paragraph.
Uh-huh.
Oh, wait a minute. No, it's the next one. According to, maybe I'm getting ahead of you.
Oh, yeah, I'm just right up in this one here. So there's something in purple here, missing words here.
So by getting rid of the Northampton, I think that takes care of what the concern was.
Easthampton to Northampton. Yeah,
Okay. I'll just get rid of that. Okay.
get rid of missing words and the space
Okay.
in front of
North
Northampton.
side connects by the Manhattan Trail in Easthampton to Northampton in completing this segment. Okay.
So
I guess-
the next paragraph is actually stated pretty much verbatim on page 14.
And I changed the wording on 14, I think, so I
But this
suggestions.
is, there's a couple of places where there's some words that are used, almost exactly the same in several places in the document. And I'm just a little bit worried about that because they were so clear about saying, please don't put things in twice.
Mhm.
You can say, you can refer people to another page.
Yeah, it did say that, not to manage your
Yeah.
level of redundancy, you can refer people to another section.
Yeah. And I think the section that takes priority is the merit section, but I think it, basically it's wherever it has the most impact
Mhm.
or makes the most sense. But this is a paragraph that appears in a couple of places. And the one thing in here that I thought would help, that is missing in several of these, is mentioning that it goes by putting elementary school in that list of, we don't want to have, but we've got like pharmacy, town hall, churches, police station, but elementary school is like a big thing for the raise grant.
Yeah.
It's an issue for them.
Well, and I guess,
So we can think about that. Yeah, page 14.
you're looking in the notice of opportunity, is that where you're looking when you say page
Under
14? Or you
under
went-
merit criteria,
Okay.
section D, mobility.
It's
and
actually,
community
in the
connectivity.
mobility and community connectivity, it's 1, 2, 3, it's the 4th paragraph.
Mhm.
And
Oh,
it's,
yeah.
it's pretty much identical. So I think the decision is, where would we like that paragraph to be?
So this is already duplicative on page 14, is what you're saying?
Yeah,
Yes,
All right, let's just make
Exactly.
it, we'll just make a note.
Oh, I see there. I think mobility and community connectivity is a good place for that paragraph.
yeah. And I think, and I might be wrong about this, but I think that when they're reading, the information about how to fill the grant out, it sounded like the merit section was where they were gonna look for this stuff
Yeah, I would think so.
I
primarily.
think that, yeah, in rereading like the raised page
Yeah,
and things that they would like to, the funding that they're prioritizing, I think,
Mhm.
yeah, it should go under merit.
okay. Because this is the detailed project description, but you're right. I think where they're gonna really be cluing in and trying to score or evaluate anything is gonna be under that merit criteria. So maybe that whole paragraph would maybe move. Okay, what about this next one about
And
the,
that's from the Mass Trails.
yep, say what?
That paragraph, it's from,
This
yeah,
one?
this was
narrative
from the
in Mass
original cut
Trails.
and paste.
yeah,
The
so,
shared history. Yeah, and that one also is redundant. Yeah,
and
This
so I
paragraph
think
too?
wherever they're looking for narrative, that's kind of
Okay,
where it might go best. If that's,
right.
in this very section, they talk about the same thing. Like
Which one?
we've talked
Well,
about
no, this-
wheelchair access up above. And
To me, this paragraph was a link to the merits criteria that we at least should mention that, in even if it's just briefly.
maybe we should say, at the end of that paragraph, see page 14, whatever, merit criteria, mobility and community connectivity, or something like that. Just refer them forward. You're right,
Well,
but
you're not gonna, usually you don't refer forward though, do you? I mean, I don't know.
You could say additional information
yeah,
will be discussed, expanded on.
yeah, yes.
elaborated on.
This will be expanded on further in the discussion of merit criteria, mobility and community connectivity. And,
All right.
and just leave that paragraph there. It does mention, it does talk about the things in the upper paragraph, which we have just deleted. So
Okay.
you are saying something that's worded a little bit differently, and it may, yeah.
Okay.
What do people think about that?
My sense is we should combine the two paragraphs and just briefly say it provides links to important resources in town, including, don't have to list all of them. And then the second part refers to things they consider merit and believe it's important because it's provides recognition opportunities, the stuff that's in the second paragraph. I think we should not get rid of them, but really make them brief.
Okay.
And
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
you
willing to rework that.
Yeah, and you can maybe, expand it back out, use
Yeah.
this later on, the language as is. 'Cause I think the language is pretty good and descriptive in terms of how it will, connect with the, the surrounding area. So, all right, I'm gonna just
So,
get this.
Tighten that up.
Yeah. And then, what about this question here about abuts versus connects? That was one of Diana's questions.
That was mine, yeah. Does
Rail
it-
line property connects to, or abuts, yeah, maybe abuts.
Is
Different
it a
word.
but? Does it actually?
It doesn't, I think when that was written up, it doesn't abut all of it.
Where are you?
I'm sorry,
Um,
right at the beginning of the colored paragraph, right up here.
Then
right
take
here.
out a, yeah.
The first paragraph that's highlighted?
Yes,
Oh,
Yes.
I see where you are. Yep.
connects abuts. Take out abuts, Diana, is that what you're saying?
Hmm.
Connects
would-
gives
Trying
more
to find it in
flexibility.
our master plan.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, open space and recreation plan, because I mean, we did pull it out of there.
yeah. Okay, well, if connects is in the plan, let's just leave it connects then maybe. If it doesn't abut everything, then that might be misleading too, I suppose. All right,
Mhm.
so we just left those paragraphs and you'll have to come back and take a look at those again. So Ed, if you're still here, before you disappear on me, maybe. I'm hoping, I can't see anybody. Ed, are you still here?
I'm still here. I've just
Okay.
muted it because I got a phone voicemail coming in.
Okay,
Hang on a second.
so I just wanted to be sure how we do this phraseology, because today was the drop dead day for this on-call RFQ responses to come in. And that was going out to a variety of engineering companies for a variety of potential tasks, not just greenway, bike path construction, but it was a dozen other tasks in town that we might have projects for. So that response will have been in hand as of today, although they have to be scored. And then from that, we will be doing a statement of work for anybody who seems to be qualified to then actually bid on the design work. Am I right on that, Ed?
You are correct. And I haven't been through them as of yet in
Right, no, I
any
know.
detail to see who actually, of the 6 who actually returned them. So
Yeah. So what we're saying here, we'll contact applicants to the RFQ process. That's actually already done. Right?
well, it may be done if we didn't get any that have
Yeah.
any experience with
Rail trails.
bike paths. We'll have to do one just for the
No, okay.
Yeah. I'm hoping that there's at least one in there that does have some experience with
Yeah,
bicycle
okay.
path.
Okay, so if there were anybody in the pile that the few applications that came in, that does qualify, then that step would go away.
Correct.
And then we would begin with step 2, which is finalizes the scope of services or the scope of work requirements. And that would be sent out though to the design firm, the engineering firm that has been ranked the highest under the RFQ process, right?
Correct.
Okay, and so say there was one company that was the highest one, then they would get the actual scope of work for the rail trail work itself.
As long as they had experience in that discipline.
Right, and come back to us with a quote, etc., on the job. So at that point in time, there would not be any further competitive bidding per se. We would only go out to that top ranked engineering firm, most likely, yes?
Yes.
Okay, so is that kind of clear, Mark and Ellen, a little bit? Or no?
Yeah, do we
So-
want to change the wording, I guess?
Well, we just need to be sure we come back to it. So we don't know it now because these RFQ responses just came in today. So Ed needs to do a look at them, this week, in the next few days to see if there's somebody in there that looks like they've got rail trail background, even though they haven't been scored yet. Or we can maybe rephrase this. The town has put out, an on-call engineering RFQ and is reviewing, I can work on, let me take these 2 parts because I've been working with Ed on it. So let me take these
Okay.
top 2 bullets, okay? Let's not belabor it. We'll take those and see what we've got here, but there would be a scope of work that would be very much, you guys have done a draft scope of work itself that you had gotten, I think, from other towns and tried to do another draft for us as well. So that would be eventually what gets sent out to somebody to give us a quote on for the actual design work.
For the actual scope of work, correct.
Yeah. Okay.
And I have to sign off and get ready for my next meeting.
I know you do. Okay. And
All
just
right.
Thank you, Ed.
Yep, we'll catch it because we know these have got to be done by 25%, 75% plans, all this kind of stuff. And I think you took that probably from somewhere else, Mark, I'm imagining.
That's just the Mass DOT scope
DOT
of service
stuff.
process.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Sounds good. Thanks, Ed. We'll catch you
You're
later.
welcome. Take care.
All right. So let's just go back up here. Evaluates applicants based on published criteria. That's fine. So I'll just be sure that we've got this stated correctly, given the fact that we do have these responses in. Hopefully, as of today, somebody applied for something that has qualifications. I just said this. Okay, let's do that. All right. And then get rid of yeah, I guess it's not usually Mass DOT. Required work. Okay. Getting there. Where are we at? Anywhere else? Oops, hang on, sorry. And small things here, yeah. Okay, and they do say that we can put in links to other documents, so that's good. We just need to be sure that the link works. They do accept links to other documents, and especially that feasibility study was a bear to actually download and do anything with, so that's fine. And then I think it did talk about saying things like you've done here, Mark, which is great. See attachment. This is something that they actually do want to have us itemize here a little bit.
The one thing they specified is the titles of the attachment need to be fairly clear, and the way they are right now, they aren't. So we may change how they're titled in the Google Doc, just so it's consistent.
Oh,
That says environmental study or says structural engineering study.
okay.
So in other words, like see attachment, open quote, environmental.
Well, no, when we had put attachment in a specific document for them, but we have to make sure it's not like ZW2 tie and bond. It's got to be, an environmental study. you know.
Yeah. So it's gotta be obvious. Now, somewhere wasn't there something that documents couldn't be named more than 10 letters or something?
There's a limit to them, and we can look back at that.
So we need to just check on, I'm just gonna make a note here on, check naming of files, something.
Yeah.
Files, okay? I'm just doing that just offhand, because I remember seeing that somewhere in some crazy instruction. All right, now. Grant fund will purchase, okay, these services, a small portion will pay for the time of high-level personnel. How about key personnel? I don't know, high-level personnel. I don't know, are they high-level? Maybe they are.
I think key is a good word. I
It's a
mean,
good word.
He is a good one.
Key. High-level sounds a bit much, but, okay.
Key administrative.
Key admin,
Key
Whatever,
personnel
it's
is
fine.
fine.
key personnel is okay, yeah. All right, all right, key personnel, that's what's going on here.
Thank you, Diane, for cleaning up this.
Yes, definitely.
Mhm. There's always more we can do, I guess.
Yeah, well, it's some of this stuff that just makes it clearer. I mean, I think we all tend to be, myself included, be extremely wordy on some of these things too. So it's great to have another set of eyes to look at that. Let's
Agree
see.
with omitting have been told.
Yeah, we expect will be, oops, come back. Now here's where your, which Mass DOT.
And getting back to the point, we can say the 6 million in, I think it was calculated actually
Production cost.
3 years ago or so.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, whatever
like the
year,
pickleball courts, when you actually go to build them.
yeah, right.
2 years ago, yeah.
I think it might have even been longer than 3 years
It
ago,
might-
but
Yeah, I was gonna say, because we've been
Several
working
years
on-
ago.
how about a few years ago? Without having the exact year, I'd have to look at the tip and see
Yeah.
when we got put on there.
Several
A
years ago, yeah.
Yeah.
few years ago. All right, and so this is another, so okay, so you're just referring to what Mass DOT wants us to do. So this is actually a link to this, if they wanted to understand what that scope of services is that,
Correct.
okay? Gotcha.
Is this a state or federal grant?
Federal.
This is a federal grant from the US Department of Transportation.
That's
Then
why it's such a
there was somewhere
nightmare.
where it said the Mass TIP plan, the Mass DOT TIP, and I can find it, but should we like spell that out then? Or is there a
Somewhere down there, I thought
transportation
I did.
improvement plan
Yeah.
everywhere?
It should be, well, maybe spilled somewhere, but it's DOT in both places. It's the Department of Transportation at the federal level. So hopefully they know their own jargon, but if there's a place to mention
I
it, we
did-
could.
I think it's pretty clear that, in this application that the state is providing construction cost.
Somewhere, we can double check that. It might have been somewhere
We have
stated.
said that, like, they've told us, they told Southampton we're getting $6 million if we get the planning done.
Yeah,
That's basically it. And there was a reference to the TIP grant.
okay.
The
It
TIP
was approved
funds.
in 2014, so
Hmm.
The tip,
yeah. It says PRC
I would-
approved in 20, so should we put that? Because that's
Well, I
a
would
long
leave it-
time ago.
I would leave it vague because in 2021, they still listed, the state in their mass tip program still listed that $6 million. So as a projected cost. So I think just leaving it in the past and vague is better.
I mean, they can go look it up if they need to, but, so I put a few years ago. Is that okay? Is that enough?
Yes.
That's fine.
All right, okay. Yeah, it's a matter of whether we give them too much information or not enough. It's always a tricky point here.
And this thing about, although we cannot know the final cost of the planning design, that sentence down through 100% plan and permitting, a few lines down. I don't know whether we should omit that or not. We have said that elsewhere.
Mm. This whole part right here, this whole sentence?
Mm-hmm. All the way down to permitting.
I would tend to leave it to know what we're asking the money for.
Maybe we can just check and see where it is elsewhere.
Yeah, I didn't write that down.
Okay. And decide to keep or not, here or not. Something like that. I'm just gonna make a note so we can.
Mhm, okay.
All right, and we know we fiddled with the budget a little bit, we'll surpass that. And then go down to location, we got that.
We have a change of but to an and. The
Where is it?
proposed, line 2 after Massachusetts. Southampton, Massachusetts, and will provide.
Where,
B,
Hmm.
multi-use. The Southampton, Massachusetts, and will provide.
Okay. From and through. Okay. All right.
That all looked pretty good.
As outlined in the project above.
Yeah. Yeah, that's better.
All right, so we need a capital letter here somewhere.
This,
New sentence.
yeah.
Oops. Okay, this segment of the round. Okay. All right. Surely there's more. Yes. No. Yeah. There's a lot more. Yeah.
unfortunately.
A lot more.
Yeah,
Okay.
and in this paragraph where it's, let's see, the sentence that, this is in under A, where it
Yep.
says, the detailed plan must meet Mass DOT scope of services before the town of Southampton can receive promised construction. We did say this previously on page 6, under the scope of service, and there's a link there that we provided.
Okay.
So we may be able to,
And to be fair, it also says in the project budget, we expect 1 million is a reasonable estimate since Mass DOT requires an extremely detailed and rigorous plan.
yep,
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's good if we delete it.
yeah.
What, right here?
Yeah, that, what you just highlighted.
Maybe that whole sentence.
Oh, the detailed plan part?
Yeah, mhm.
Just get rid of it now? This?
I think that's fine.
Yep.
Okay. Gone. Oops, come back.
And again, we've said that we can't know the final cost of the consultant for planning, design, and engineering. But you do say this time around, if they are higher than covered, the town of Southampton has approved. So that's good. I think that's a good place for it.
Yeah, okay.
And the rest of the changes in that paragraph look good.
Yeah, let's see if I can get these out of here. Come on now. Ugh. Come on now. All righty. And I think we got a little space here too. All right.
Some of these,
Under
1,
B.
2, and 3 spaces.
This may be, under B, it may be a good place to add that detail that Ed suggested about saying that, you know, we've signed, the railroad and the Southampton have signed an agreement, the contract and with the rail banking, and then it's going through other state processes before it's completed.
Both the town and the Pioneer Valley Railroad have signed the rail banking agreement. Yeah,
Yeah, I haven't seen their signature, so maybe we'll just say the Pioneer Valley.
Railroad.
Pioneer, God. Railroad is pursuing,
I thought Ed said he signed, they both signed.
Yeah, they signed it. Both the town and the railroad have signed it, and now it's
Okay.
going through the
Okay.
final state required
yep, okay,
document, you know.
both the town and railroad. I'm gonna change this just so I can do this better here. And the Pioneer Valley Railroad. Does that work?
And the rail banking agreement is in the final stages of,
Is pursuing necessary state approvals or something like that?
yeah,
It's probably federal though.
It's the standard board. Well,
I think it's a state railroad board. Or the
right.
Federal Railroad Board.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, we'll just leave it this person pursuing necessary approvals. How's that?
yeah.
Great.
We'll leave it vague and they can worry about that if they want to know.
Mhm.
All right. Do we want to say in the final stages here?
Yeah,
For
let's see, both the town and the Pioneer Valley Railroad have signed the agreement.
and the road is
And-
pursuing necessary approvals. With expectations to conclude by,
Or before that, before both, between the first and second sentence, just say the rail banking, the acquisition is nearly completed.
Okay.
The railroad corridor acquisition is nearly completed.
I say corridor again, or just acquisition?
And it's not so much the railroad that's pursuing necessary approvals, it's that the documents are, you know, they're, what do they do it? What do they call it? They,
Well, they have to file all this to formally abandon it with the standards board.
Yeah, it is. I
It
think
is a
the
railroad
wording is
agreement?
appropriate.
It is there, it's in their hands. We have nothing more to do until they do their part.
okay,
Yeah,
Could we just say, instead of saying the town of Southampton approved $170,000 in the state of Massachusetts, could you say that the cost of the acquisition has been covered in full by or through town funding and additional state grants?
well, we said well, but this is the town up above here, yeah.
and then it does say the state has provided an additional and 2 grants to cover the full acquisition cost.
Right, because that's Mass Trails and the Housing Choice Grant.
So it
Did that
does
go
say-
before the railroad corridor is nearing conclusion, or,
That's reasonable. So
you
just
know what I
move the
mean? 'Cause
last
it reads
sentence
funny.
up.
Move that sentence?
Yeah, up to after the first sentence.
Testing my abilities here.
Control V.
Yeah, really. Some days.
That reads better.
Yeah,
Right.
Railroad corridor is nearing conclusion.
Oops,
That just seems to be hanging out there now,
yep. That's out of place now too. That doesn't,
The acquisition process for,
so. Through Robert, the state of Massachusetts provided an additional 202 grants to cover the full acquisition cost. Um,
And you can put that sentence at the very end, because it
Okay.
does sound
Yeah,
conclusive.
could do that.
The process is nearing conclusion. How does that read? Sort of, okay,
Good.
all right,
The acquisition process.
Yeah, the acquisition process. Yeah.
all right. Scroll down here this bit. All righty,
And I think this is the same thing as before, the planning / design. I think you just want to pick one of those two words. Like maybe design. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah,
But
including,
again, they're paying for a planning grant, not a design grant. That would just keep in mind in terms of their
Okay,
wording.
then eliminate design.
yeah, and just put or you put engineering design like Dan had suggested, right?
Right.
Because the costs, yeah. Yeah, under their category, this counts as a planning grant. So. Should we say 6,200? We said our actual population before,
Yeah, you're right.
where I think we're a few more, but that's okay. It's changed probably.
6220 if you want to
Yeah.
get specific.
That's close enough. And
Is it possible to, like, I don't know, maybe I'm holding on to the word we, but funding is being requested.
The town?
the town,
has-
Southampton, yeah, I just feel like the we is confusing.
capital T, Diana?
Well, you just have to decide on one or the other. Most style books would not capitalize it, but, you know, I think we should be consistent, whatever we do.
So just a question on that. If we say town of Southampton, should it be capitalized then?
No,
Okay, thank you.
so the
So generally not capitalized.
Associated Press wouldn't, or, no,
Generally not capitalized, okay. The town is requested, I think it needs to be in the present tense, so, do we need to say from the RAISE program? I mean, this is the RAISE application.
Including
I don't know.
process. Does that, could I just, is that whole paragraph necessary? Like, not the whole paragraph, but
Yeah.
Specific process in
the
Massachusetts.
funding from the RAISE program, including engineer design and permitting. Does that sentence have to be in there at all?
Let me tell you my purpose and then people can decide. I still am concerned that in most states, this planning grant would be covered by the state or a county. And we sort of have to say why we're asking for we can't go ahead with the project unless we can get funding for planning. So in that context, decide if you think it's needed.
Mm-hmm. I'm just changing this so we can look at this whole paragraph easily.
We said this earlier though, right? Didn't we? Or maybe I'm
that's
just,
the thing, it's, I keep losing track of where we said what, and, you know,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
didn't we
trying.
already say?
Yeah, I mean,
in the project description section, we talked about this under D, you know, that paragraph.
mhm.
The towns have to do the planning part because in Massachusetts, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So
So
we-
maybe we can just put what
you
was
can
it?
say something like as mentioned in the, what was the section? On page 3, project description. And then you can say like just a short sentence. The town is responsible for acquiring funding for the planning and design process or whatever, acquisition, planning and construction.
I would consider not oversimplifying it, because I think this is the place where they're looking at justifying the budget and why we're asking for it, but that's my 2 cents.
Let's go. I mean,
Well,
let's,
could we say that, start off by saying the town must complete the design and, planning and design process in order for the project to be able to proceed, and, you know, just say like, we've gotten the funding for blank. We're on the tip list for Massachusetts. And just, I mean, I understand that not wanting to overstate it, but it is just specific to Massachusetts.
yeah. I mean, there's
So,
something, yeah, right. It's got to be, you know, why is this important because of Massachusetts, right? In terms of what we're being required to do. So, right. Go ahead, Kate. Yeah, I'm agreeing.
I mean, I feel like it could just be like because I feel like a lot of that stuff in the first part of this has been clearly stated. Notify Massachusetts.
So I think rewording it more simply, we can, if we still have a lot to cover, so if we
Yeah.
just highlight it and one of us will rework it.
Yeah, I guess I'm wondering, come on over here. Got stuck. What's going on here? I don't know what's going on.
And Mark, this is the same link as before, right? With
Yeah,
this-
the last sentence and link can be gotten rid of.
Yeah, I was gonna say this,
That part definitely can be,
that's been talked about with the link before, right?
Yeah,
yes.
Okay. So here's where you have, you know, as previously mentioned. So I think that's the thing. I guess I'm wondering whether we might be able to start more with this part here.
Yes, I'm literally trying to like rework this paragraph to start with that
Yeah,
because
I
really-
like that. Yeah. Mhm.
If I can do that, I don't know if
So
I
you can
can.
say Mass DOT, you don't need the we, but the Mass DOT has promised, blah, 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 blah. Then say, you know, I think we've stated that the acquisition, once the acquisition process has been completed, Southampton is responsible for coming up with the design funds. Or something.
Okay, I'm just gonna throw that on there. I know, so I can get rid of these colors later, but we'll worry about that.
I like that wording.
Is responsible for the design and permitting process.
Again, I would consider using planning in there because that's what they're paying for, but
Okay, yep. For the
you can
planning and permitting, or planning,
planning and environmental design, or planning and engineering design.
Mhm.
okay. All right, so maybe we get rid of this first stuff in kind of gold up here. Ugh. I know what I meant. I'm just gonna make a space here so I don't kill it. We're gonna get rid of this first paragraph up here, the process. Do you want to get rid of that? The process of this part?
I think that's okay.
Get rid of it? Gone?
Well,
Nope. We can pull it back, probably. Maybe.
You know,
Um,
undo.
Just say Control Z.
well, it said in there, it's different than other states, and I think that sentence needs to be in there someplace.
Okay. Control what? Control V or D?
Z is in zebra. To bring it back.
Thank you. Okay. All right, so maybe
The first sentence, just somewhere it needs to be covered that
right.
it really is different than other states.
okay, I'll leave that there and you guys can tinker with that sentence. How's that?
Okay,
Yeah,
sounds good.
All right, and I'll just get rid of this stupid blue. Ooh, did I just get rid of that again?
Oh,
I did.
I did it.
No, we want that in there. That little
I put it
piece.
here.
That little piece about other states. We want that in there.
It's right here. The process for
Oh,
planning
okay.
and construction.
Okay, you put it down there. Okay, fine. I'm gonna get rid of this blue so we don't get all, too many.
Design, construction of the mail trucks. Once I Southampton. Okay.
yeah, all right. All right, well, we'll figure that out. All right, never mind. Okay, moving on. Deleting something, what's it on here? 6 million, okay. Well, estimated 6 million,
Yes,
at least 6 million.
Yeah.
Is an estimated,
or was previously estimated or whatever.
yeah, maybe. Or has been,
Has been. They're gonna go do this project in 2037 and it's gonna be $12 million.
for real, doubt it. Part of the expectation in 2 older rail bridges. Man and colors, wetlands. Okay,
Yeah, I mean, you can just list those serially, say, structural improvements, comma, wetlands with threatened species. We know that there are wood turtles down there, so you don't have to say possibly. Wetlands with threatened species. And also historic, what do you call, relics, or something like that.
Would that be, so going back to like the high cost, so I'm looking at the project budget. Would those 2 sentences be worth mentioning in the, like, when we first state the cost and expected for?
I think they are. They are referred to earlier. I don't know if I can find it, but
sorry, was there something else you wanted me to add about historical here? Sorry. May need structural improvements, comma, nearby wetlands within.
yeah, I can say historic sites with archaeologic significance or something like that. Historic relics.
Possible historical sites, historic.
Well,
Yeah,
no,
they-
they are historical sites. The canal, the little the village,
I guess I think that this is specific to this project, but not specific to the Massachusetts process, right?
Correct. So that not the right place for that.
Yeah, so I'm just wondering if that
Yeah.
statement should be,
So that whole paragraph, starting with as previously mentioned, probably should go in A.
yes, that's what I'm looking at too.
And then following paragraph also.
So all of that goes up to A. Let me,
Or at least that paragraph should.
all right, hold on.
A location? No.
No,
Prior
A
funding?
under budget.
Detailed,
under
what about
funding.
detailed project description?
Well, we're talking about the funding for planning and permitting. That's what we're asking. We're asking for $1 million to hire a consultant. And it sort of describes why it's part of why it's expensive. But
So we'd start with here.
Oh my God.
yeah, I'm sorry.
No, I think it belongs in a different spot too.
The same where I mentioned or a different spot.
No, I think that's perfect, just not here.
Okay. Yeah, up in just in A above. Yeah.
This is what's control cut, what's control what?
X,
Control V should be paste.
Yeah, no, but X to cut, right?
yep,
So I'm gonna cut this as previously mentioned. This part.
We're gonna cut and paste. Yeah. Mhm.
Did it do that? No. Maybe it did. I don't
Yeah,
know. if
It
it did.
did.
Then we're gonna go up to the end of here. somewhere.
3A,
Something
yep.
for planning and.
Maybe a paragraph.
Probably.
Maybe
Just
take
start-
out as previously mentioned.
Yep.
Let's see this last sentence. Part of the expected high planning and construction cost is due to 2 older rail bridges across the Manhattan River and multiple culverts that may need structural adjustments. Nearby wetlands with threatened species and historical sites in
Just
the
period.
area that may need special attention, or
Or just surrounding the rail corridor. I don't think you have to.
Yeah, I think that's fine too.
Sites of,
okay, perfect, yep. I like that. See, that's good. Oops, come up. Sites surrounding the rail corridor. Perfect. Anything else there? We'll get rid of this, the little
And we
blurb.
could even say will require more extensive federal and state permitting.
Okie dokie, okie. We'll see if that's at least somewhere where it might belong better. I don't know. All right, so then specific processes in Massachusetts, I'll just knock you down here a little bit. So we're on another page, whatever. Yeah, we'll hang it on. Okay, well, whatever. I guess we won't do that. Never mind. I was trying to get rid of the orphanage. Maybe it's here. Yep. All right, I'm not going to touch that because I'm going to mess it up. Never mind. Okay, so we're down to this paragraph here. So process with extensive is already clear. Yeah, okay. Let's see. I think yeah.
You can delete already clear, right?
Yeah, yeah, and I think that weak part we had said somewhere before too, right?
Mhm.
For challenges, yeah. And so we've dealt with this before.
Please.
Yeah, I still think it's worth having at least in 2 places, but
Okay, all right. Just to know that it's been stated though. Well,
Yeah.
Could you put once the acquisition process has been completed? Or could we just say Southampton is responsible for the cost of planning and engineering design due to the county system in Massachusetts?
Can you, yeah, okay.
due to the nature of a limited county system.
Due to the structure of the county system? I'm just trying to think about how we can take that and like state it in a sentence.
But do we want to focus so much on counties? I mean, don't other states, isn't the money coming from the state? We're just saying that
In a lot of
both our
states,
county and our
in
state.
a lot of
yeah.
states, the county does these projects, not small towns and cities.
Mm.
Just, so at least,
mhm. So how did you want to state this again? So instead of, we've already said Massachusetts does not address such projects. No, we've already said this stuff here, so. Funding expectation, oh, was that a separate thing? Did I undo something? No, okay.
Yeah, again, I mean, both of those paragraphs have been stated before.
I think this sentence here is not useful. Funding, that's not even a sentence. Did I cut out something by mistake? I might have. I don't know. It itself doesn't. Anything.
can I
That's
suggest that we
that's
just,
Section D. That's a whole section. Funding
that-
expectation for future constructions.
That's the name of a section.
Yeah,
Okay, then we lost a numbering thing there somehow.
that was, so, yeah, that's just a number. And that's the paragraph below it that says Mass DOT has already said
Yeah.
that they will fund. That's the expected funding. The
Okay,
construction piece of it is expected.
okay. All right, so sort of back in there, maybe.
Mhm.
All right, so what are we doing? We're gonna leave this paragraph in here for now? This,
Just, we still have a lot to cover, so I'm willing
Yeah.
to rework this and send it out or something. Is that,
Yeah.
and simplify it? I
All right.
just-
I just-
That's one process.
okay,
Yeah. Yeah, the merit criteria are really important. That section.
all right. So let's go down here. And this is where this is. Okay, I think we've gotten down to, oop, one more here.
Okay.
All right, so jumping into the merit stuff. Yeah. Alrighty. Oops, come on down here. Just come on. You can't do this. Come on. Come on now. Oh, Lord. Yeah. If anybody has to leave, I understand. I'll hang in
I've
here.
been on Zoom since 9 o'clock this morning.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. Ah,
All right, let's just see what this looks like. This admission with admissions.
I do need to jump off over here. It sounds like you guys have a good
Yeah.
control on it.
Hey,
If there's anything I can do, just rope me in, let me know. I'm happy to
I'm
help.
sure there will be. Thanks, Aaron.
All right,
Thank you.
thanks for all the
Aaron.
effort. I appreciate it.
All right. Okay, so I'm just gonna go down through and accept, Diana's edits here. If there were some questions as you were seeing things going along, I think most of these are pretty. I'll
Oops,
start with
there's-
these.
So there's a
Missing a
couple
space
sentences
there.
down from where your queue is. It says completion of the Southampton Greenway will be in cooperation with towns, but will be undertaken in cooperation with towns or will be carried out in cooperation with the towns. It
Coordination
will be coordinated with towns in the region. They're coordinated. Or, you know what I mean? You need the verb's not right.
Yep.
Will be
Coordinated in cooperation.
coordinated with, just leave, delete in cooperation. It'll be
I also
coordinated.
think that one thing that might be helpful to include under merit criteria, because I was just looking at the raise grant priorities, it's to create good paying jobs, but I also think part of it is giving people, it also provides access for people who don't have cars to jobs that they might not be able to get to otherwise. And I
That's
think it's
listed in-
also helpful to acknowledge the terrible public transportation network in Western Massachusetts.
It does. That is in there.
Oh, is it?
If
Yeah.
anything, it's been repeated too much.
Yeah.
So it's in there.
Yeah. It's further down.
Okay, so let's continue with, that's kind of the overall, okay? So safety, second space here. All right, we'll just slide on down here. All right, crossings along Route 10. So this is where the school got mentioned, at least up in there, that paragraph. I mean, it's not exactly adjacent to the school, but they could get from the path over behind,
Conan Park and
well, but as they're going up the rail trail toward Norris, they can get off behind Grindstone and come over somehow, sort of.
Yeah, yeah, I think there is talk of connecting. There is a road that goes,
Well, that's what the plan is for, right?
yeah. But anyway, if you go back up a little bit, I think there's something that it's like right under safety.
Okay, just a minute.
Can we go back up? Oh, yeah, okay. Okay. One of the primary purposes of the Southampton Greenway is to keep local citizens safe and healthy, not safer. You can say safer than what? Safe and healthy. And decreasing air pollution exposure is especially important for children and the elderly. For children, I mean, because asthma in Massachusetts is horrible, big issue.
Yep.
Southampton has recently put in sidewalks and safe crossings along Route 10. Delete especially.
Where's that?
Okay, further down. Let's see.
It's like the 7th line in that
1,
paragraph.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The 9th line down. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. Recently put in sidewalks and safe crossings. Oh yeah, someone fixed it already. Yep.
Yep, we already got that, I think. Yep. Which
Right.
allows safe connection from our
Okay,
town center
great.
to the rail trail. Yep. Okay. All right. Righty.
And there's just some data.
Pedestrian and bicyclist safety or bicycle safety? Bicyclist?
Let's see what
Bicyclist is
one-
the right word.
Say what?
That's the right word, bicyclist.
Okay. Okay. And then we're gonna have a reference point here. And another reference point here. Okay. So even though these are not specific to Southampton, those are valid to put in as reference documents in terms of how we're formulating our thinking about this, right?
Yes, those
Right.
specific reference to national data on safety concerns.
All right. Sounds good. We'll do what they tell us. Let's see. Yeah, a lot of this was some of our language from previous grant, I think. Some of it looks a little bit familiar.
In
All right.
the environmental sustainability section, there's a part that's quoted that should be indented.
What would that part be?
I mean, I'm not talking.
3rd paragraph.
The
The
It
3rd
looks like
paragraph.
it's the 3rd paragraph, but it really should be indented. See that whole piece researchers have shown for the first time? That's yeah, that's right. That needs to be tabbed in 5. Because
You're-
it's
You're just challenging my skills today.
I think if you just,
No, I
That's
don't think you
good.
want to do that.
that's
No.
good.
Oh, maybe you did. Okay.
Is that okay?
It's a whole paragraph quote. I
Yeah.
mean, you either have to make it the same paragraph or indent it because you're citing that study.
Well, is it better
You're
to make
quoting
it?
it. You're not just making reference to it, you're quoting it. So it's just like, that's right.
Well-
And the same thing in the next section, with quality of life, you've got 2 paragraphs
Hold
that
on a
are
sec.
lifted from the
Yep.
national park stuff. And so that just should be indented.
Okay, so hang on here. So back on this one though. So is it in one international study? And then we go right to the quote? We don't say anything?
Yeah, and the citation is at the end of that paragraph. See in blue?
Yeah.
That's the reference.
So is that indented enough or you want it more indented?
Well, it should be 5. It should be indented 5. You know, a tab in, like a paragraph thing, right? As long as you can see it. I mean, it looks like it's a little bit shy, like it should be in a little bit more, but
Okay, I don't know if it can go in a little more.
There you go.
That says 88 to me, so I don't know what 5 is, but anyway.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, you see where your little blue arrow is up on the top? It's where the 1 is.
That's where you want it? Okay,
That's where the indent should be moved to the 1.
gotcha. All right, I wasn't going far enough. Okay, is
Almost.
that it?
Yeah, perfect. That looks better.
Yeah, all right. Okay, let's see, quality of life. What would you-
Yes, omit the,
Citizens with residence,
yeah.
although there
Then
are.
I said, increased exercise, increased opportunities to be outside, and increased socialization. I don't know, I just thought the
So this is another indent here.
nope.
No?
nope. Back up to line 3.
Well, no, you're correct. She's talking about a separate thing though. So those 2 paragraphs, second and third.
Yes,
should
line
be
3.
indented.
Yes, those 2 paragraphs will need to be indented, but I'm talking about
Okay.
increased exercise, comma, increased, whatever you want to say, time out in the out of doors, and increased socialization. And then yeah, and then you can delete the rest of the sentence. And then the following sentence, the Greenway will provide an important new opportunity for exercise for residents in the region by connecting to town centers and rail trails. That is a kind of a
Centers,
thing
plural?
for the Rays people, yeah. to
Centers
connect
plural.
To town centers and
centers.
rail trails, yeah. Yeah,
By connect, Greenville Pride and by connecting to town centers with other rail trails. Okay, I guess
to
that,
town centers and rail trails. Yeah, and other rail trails, yeah, yeah, yeah.
okay, and then I'm gonna indent this paragraph.
Two paragraphs.
And the following one also.
You can do them both at the same time. Yeah, and then just go up and move that little arrow to the 1. Perfect. Yeah.
This was one of my weaker references to literature. So if people think it's too much, questions, can we shorten it? So
But you can't take away, especially for women. You can't take that away because you're quoting.
Ellen, now you put ... ellipse because there's a whole bunch of us that's missing there.
No, but,
And if you do ellipse, you
oh, I
can.
see. You got the ... dots?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay.
I mean, whether you want it in is a different story, but you can.
So am I taking it out?
It is kind of icky. Yeah.
Yeah, I would just take it out.
It's like women just want to get together and talk.
I would take it out. Unnecessary. Yes.
Yeah, really. Sounds a little sexist there. Okay.
Yeah.
All righty.
And then I thought the first 2 paragraphs of mobility and community connectivity were redundant. But anyway, there's a lot of.
Something's in here. What's in here? Do we
This
need
is,
this? I'm gonna
Yes,
jump. I see.
page 4.
Wait, hang on. I'm gonna see this parentheses here. This doesn't belong, or does it?
No, I was trying to simplify it actually. To just clarify that the New Haven Northampton Canal Greenway is actually part of the Connecticut River corridor.
But I don't think they'll care. I don't
Well,
think.
I think we can confuse the heck out of them with all these names. That's,
Yeah.
so you can say which is part of.
Oops. Sorry. Sorry.
Connecticut River Valley corridor.
Part of
Oh, my God.
Connecticut Valley Corridor.
Yes.
I've heard it get called so many things.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the question is, which of these which should we keep? Because there's a lot of redundancy. I think this is the one where we decided that the paragraph that has the list of grocery stores, restaurants, pharmacy belongs in this section, right? Did we
Okay, can I
omit
make-
that?
I had some specific wording suggestions, if it's okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
So just keep the first part of the sentence. The Southampton Greenway follows the path identified Mass Bicycle Transportation Plan, period. And then get rid of the rest of that paragraph. And then go to the, just join it to the next, the Southampton Greenway provides a vital north-south connection.
So wait, you want me to delete all that I'm highlighting here?
Well, do that,
Or
that
move it.
was above and I don't think is sort of needed. People may not agree with that, but I just thought getting rid of redundancy that it
Yeah.
was listed up above.
Or we can refer to wherever it was put. You know, if there was a page, remember, we can refer backward to,
Well, in a way, you don't need to, because the very next paragraph describes in more detail.
I was
why-
just thinking the same thing. I'm like, is there a way to just condense it into one paragraph?
Well, that's what I'm trying
That's
to,
what he's doing.
that's what I'm trying to do. Get rid of, take the first sentence of the first paragraph and put it on top of the second paragraph and get rid of
I'll
the,
just- I don't think you, oh yeah, okay. You want to delete that second sentence, right? And then just bring the second paragraph
Okay.
up, right?
I'm not sure.
I think you-
Brain's
I just
getting
moved that
foggy.
sentence down. I got rid of that sentence.
Okay,
You know
Don't
what?
get rid of it. That wasn't the one that you wanted to get rid of.
I moved it down here. It's already here.
Oh, okay, okay.
But do you want to mention the Rails to Trails Conservancy? Wouldn't that be?
I think that's important, and I also think it's good, even if it's not in this paragraph, to remember that the Greenway is a priority corridor, although I don't know where that information is.
that can be actually at the bottom of the paragraph we're working on now, before the Southampton Greenway is demand driven. You can
Move
do-
that down there?
Yeah, I think that would be reasonable.
So then maybe this
Yeah.
here goes away.
Yeah, that, yep.
Or maybe it provides a vital north-south connection.
It's not sure we are.
Where's it? Where do you want it?
Yeah, I'm not sure we are.
So you're saying, see where your little cursor is?
Yeah,
The Southampton Greenway follows a path identified in the Massachusetts Bicycle Transportation Plan, period. It provides,
okay.
instead of
thank you.
the Southampton Greenway provides.
Yep.
It provides.
Just trying to figure out where you were.
Provide a rural north-south connection. The South Greenway.
I mean, we, you know, Columbia Greenway, Southampton Greenway is just like bleh. Northampton
I know.
Greenway.
And it's also that, you know, we've been doing this for,
I know. I mean, this is,
getting a little bit of brain freeze. Yeah.
have we not talked about where it connects somewhere else?
We
Not
did, but they,
specifically in this grant. Right? Oh, wait a minute.
we did, but
we
this is the merit section and
Yeah.
connectivity's important, so we may be able to
Okay.
simplify it, but I think we need to include it.
You know, we did talk about it a little bit in that, the area when the maps and we're giving them the specific locations and all of that, but it doesn't, it's definitely presented in a different way here with this. We're
I
talking
agree.
about,
I was just reading through the other section and it is very different. I
Yeah.
mean, the other one's just like a summary. It's in where like the summary of the project location.
yeah.
Right, okay. I just made a thing, simplify, avoid so many greenways. I mean, in that thing alone, you've got, if you look at that middle, you've got
Yeah.
4 different greenways there. I mean, it would drive me buggy to read that again. So I do think the rails to trails should stay in there. I think that's fine. Okay, let's go down to this next paragraph. See
I'm
if
just thinking, everybody's got a greenway except for Southampton.
Yeah.
You can say the rail trail, you can say the rail trail in Westfield and get rid of the Columbia Greenway, just to.
We'll look
We
at
can
it.
work on that, that's,
We'll let
yeah.
you play with that, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we're getting there. We really are, guys.
Yep.
Existing rail corridor, allow for, yeah, we had to talk about ADA for sure.
Is it going, what is this section? What is this section header?
This is the merit
Well-
section, mobility and community connectivity.
Yeah.
So mobility
So-
for ADA is an issue.
Yeah, it should be here.
Yeah. Let's see.
So should the mobility part go above? So it's mobility and community connectivity. Should that first paragraph be next to, like, should the ADA paragraph go first? I guess that's what I'm saying. 'Cause
I
it
think we
kinda
can
goes,
set our
like, where the
priorities
trail
right.
is, ADA, and then it goes back into like community.
It might, that's a valid point. Let's put a point to look at it, okay? Consider,
You know, and we aren't talking here about that stuff about the low income housing areas in East
That's
Hampton.
next one.
not, yeah, that's
Westfield.
economic
Yeah.
justice stuff,
Right. It's economic
right? So
opportunity.
that's not here, yeah.
We will be saying that.
Next one.
And I think the other thing to acknowledge about and I wonder if it says it somewhere else, but in talking about Southampton specific sidewalks, like most of the other sidewalks are not accessible at all. And so I don't know if that's been excerpted somewhere else.
It is in the next section, which
Yep.
is
So
long.
should it be put together?
Why don't we read to the next section, I think,
Okay,
and then decide if we want to move some of that.
now this,
And somewhere in here, the last sentence of the third paragraph or whatever, we should put the elementary school in there.
Yep,
Yeah.
last sentence of that section.
Yeah, like,
put it in here, the elementary school.
yeah,
Or put it as a sentence where like the rail trail will allow for many students to
yeah, we
access
do,
the school via bike.
we do talk about that.
Yeah,
The athletic fields and all that. I don't think we have to put that here, but we can.
I mean, yeah.
I think you'll see it in the paragraphs coming up.
Okay, I do like the idea though of maybe anything ADA related could be up on the top, because that is the initial, title of the paragraph there of the section, beginning with mobility. So I think that would be not a bad idea to consider moving that one up.
Sure.
And it would,
Logically, it makes the other things flow.
with requirements, persons with disabilities. Yeah, okay. All right, economic, going down there next.
Yeah. So I did make one bigger suggestion that taking the fourth and fifth paragraph and moving it below the sixth paragraph just for flow. Just as that's sort of, and
Hold on.
So
but,
this right here.
so let me see. The one that starts with Southampton has an aging population.
Yep.
I thought that should go below, the one in purple should go below the next paragraph.
All right, we'll try it.
Let's see how that works.
Oops, I lost it. Hold on. Come back. Well, first of all, let me just get that little thing out of here. Come on. Lost my cursor. Come back. Accept you. All right, so let's just move you guy. And you want it below
The yellow one.
Nothing's in yellow for me. Did I move both of these now?
I'm sorry, then after that, Pat, where your, right after where your cursor is now.
Right there?
Yeah,
Yep.
it's right there, yeah.
Let's see, did I move those right? Hang on, let's back up a minute.
I think we better like read them.
You did. You did.
This is a real marathon.
Really?
Thank you, everybody.
Well, and this is gonna be nothing by the time we figure out how we have to enter this little puppy, but that's another story.
I gotta go get my batteries about to die.
Okay, so I think I put those, the aging population is down below, yeah, and.
Yeah.
And equally students, okay? All right. Get rid of a couple paragraph spaces here. All right, so add non-white population. Okay.
This gets, Caitlin, I think this gets to some of your concerns about the safe transportation, people without access to cars. The latter
Yes.
part of this.
All right, further down.
Yeah. And
Oh my God.
the last two paragraphs do overlap with the ADA stuff that was talked about above, in the above section.
So,
That could go like in the mobility part, right?
I think that would be appropriate.
I think you might, yeah, I think it should go in the other section.
Yep. Mhm.
And I think, yeah, I think that would go fit well, and
You can combine those two paragraphs and then move it up.
yeah,
To
and
the
I also
end.
think that it also highlights the existing problem.
So we're
Yeah,
talking about not
I
just that paragraph, but the paragraph above it, right?
Yep.
Okay, I can do that later.
yeah, I'm taking too much time to do these.
Yeah, yep, I can do that later.
All right. All right, state of good repair.
This doesn't really apply that logically, so I put something minimal in there.
All right. Mhm. And I think, yeah, I don't know if there's anything more we should say about state of good repair. I mean, we're hoping that our town highway department will be the one that will be, you know, we can say the town's highway department, if you wanted to be a little bit more specific, or,
I think that'd be reasonable. Yep. Will maintain, yep.
okay. Let's see. All right, rail trail in the region. Here's something's funny. After trail. Oh, there we go. It just needs a little space.
There we
That's
go.
Space.
Okay. Yeah.
wrong one. All right, in the region. Okay.
And communicating is,
Mm,
Mhm.
Is it the Greenway Committee has been communicating?
well, it's the town, okay? You can say the
I
town
think it's-
there instead of
yeah,
we.
or- We is fine. We're
town.
all we.
I think
Oh,
the
well,
town,
you put
whatever.
town up here. How about the town has been here, and then that.
Yeah.
That
Mhm.
allows us to use we after
Yeah.
that, maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
Very good.
All right.
Who's this application under? Is it under Ed? Or,
It's under the town of Southampton, I think, right? Right? I don't know. Not, I mean,
But
Ed's got,
The town is applying for the federal grant.
Yep.
From the Department of Transportation.
You need a comma after commission
all right, commission,
and after resource. Okay. Yeah, there, Pioneer Valley Planning Commission, comma, which is a local region planning resource, comma, to make sure.
how about,
yeah.
how about which is a regional planning resource?
I was gonna say regional.
Yeah, regional.
And maybe is it there or the existing planned trails?
Will function well with their,
Because it's, who's there? I mean, it's like Westfield and Pioneer Valley.
It
Planning
doesn't have an
Commission.
antecedent. Just take
Yeah.
that out with existing and planned.
Yeah. Yeah,
Excellent.
yeah.
how about, network of bicycle and rail trails, right? S up here,
Yes.
Mhm.
okay. Ready?
Westfield needs an apostrophe. Westfield City
Yep.
Engineer.
Thank you. I love your eyes there. Very good.
Mhm.
City engineer, comma. That's not looking like a comma to me.
Yeah, it's hard to see.
I know.
Yeah, they're tiny.
Uh, to walk, bike, run, ride horses? No. Taking advantage of a space near their homes where they can be active. Using the opportunity to connect with others, young and old, in a way that you should still do. Path through scenic landscape, physical, mentally, and socially. Okay, just all sounding okie dokie to people.
Yeah.
And this is some of our other stuff here.
The one in yellow, actually, the traveling this way, maybe it didn't show up for some reason. The paragraph that starts that way, I thought maybe should all move up to the section, the connectivity section,
Hmm.
but think about it.
All right, I'll just put a note.
Oh, yeah.
And I can do that later. If people agree.
Yeah, I think that even the next paragraph,
I just highlighted the beginning. I
Yeah.
meant to highlight the whole thing, but you got it.
You could now say not just an
So what?
access point in Manheim Meadows, but the trailhead will be there. The trailhead is gonna be right off the railway if
Right,
we get the
so
grant amended. Where it
where-
says where an access point, you could say where a trailhead will invite users, or where, I guess an access point is okay too.
well, the
Never
trailhead.
mind, it's not work.
That's
Yeah,
okay. The trailhead. Mm-hmm. We'll invite users.
mhm.
Cool. All right.
I think I'll be the trailhead.
Got after invite, you have a,
There's the trailhead. Hmm.
Yeah, so this would actually be, I didn't highlight the whole paragraph, but that doesn't
Yeah,
tend
both of those two
We can
paragraphs.
move up.
were-
this one
yeah.
too? That too?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
think-
think they- yeah, I think.
Oh. Okay. All right.
this is a PDF.
no, right now, this is a Word, or it's a Google Doc, or is it a Word document?
No,
Yeah.
no, like when you, I'm just remembering the issue we had when we submitted the, which one was it? Chris, that we had to shrink the text
Oh, yeah.
down in the
No, this
boxes?
is, yeah, this is kind of
No,
a free-flowing one in a way.
Yeah.
Where we get to make our own kind of narrative. I think we're limited to 30 pages.
Oh,
We
30
have to
pages
have
is
one,
great.
we have to have 1-inch margins and times New Roman 12, I believe, but you need to check
Yeah.
that, Mark, if you would.
Yes, that's correct.
That's
So
great.
at some point in time, this will come out of Google Docs into a real Word document that I can cut and paste
Yeah.
easily somewhere.
I didn't have Times New Roman in my Word option. but
really?
Anyhow, yeah.
Oh, I do have it, but yeah.
Hey,
Okay,
if you have 30 pages, you're doing great.
Well, who knows? Yeah,
We're at 19 or we're 21, I think. So
yeah.
we're
And I think-
almost there here.
We've already mentioned the rails to trails again here too, so just check.
Yeah, there is a little
Yeah.
bit of redundancy at the end of.
Yeah.
Can we just
Uh,
take out that paragraph?
Where did we have it before? It was up.
Yeah, well, the one thing that I might not be redundant to the specific numbers about the people, number of people who were using the rail trail just above and just below where this stretch is going to be.
Yeah, we
Right.
don't want to.
Yeah, I think it's just the rail trail, the rail to this sentence here.
But I think we can rework that. I don't,
Yeah.
we don't need to get hung up.
No, I'm just gonna make a note.
Honestly, I feel like looking at the other projects that Raise is granted funding for, I still think those are like really
Important.
small numbers.
Small numbers? Yeah.
What is small
Like,
number?
4,300 people in June, like
But look at-
most
but
of their
look at-
projects
Yeah.
are like interstate or
Yeah,
highways.
So are you saying that
Yeah.
we should leave it out?
Maybe
I'm not
worth it.
sure that it adds to the argument.
That was
Okay.
from the Mass Trails grant, so
Say what?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
maybe it doesn't really transfer to the federal grant.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a really good point.
they're gonna be like, oh,
And
4,300
plus, it's kind of
people.
old.
We probably should take it out then.
Or just leave it at welcoming people from Easthampton, okay? Just
Yeah.
get rid of the number, get rid of between where and June 2020,
Yeah.
or the rest of that sentence.
This part?
What about the
I
one in Westfield? That's a bigger number.
Yeah, you keep that one.
I don't know. What do you think? Is that big enough for a federal grant or is that still peanuts?
That
I
sounds
have
pretty,
no idea.
that sounds good.
That's $8 a person. It's not bad.
I think that
think
looks
that's
good.
I think
I'd
that's
leave
pretty
in
good.
Westfield. I'd leave in Westfield. Why not?
1 second.
So I think
Okay.
that's fine. Yep, we got that in. All right.
Starting to get punchy.
The innovation one, I guess. I was trying to look at the instructions on that.
Yeah, this is really pushing it.
This was trying to be creative.
Yeah,
I don't know whether we want to say we're going to have a charging station, an electric charging station at the trailhead
Yeah.
or
I think we
something
need
like
to,
that.
we need to
but-
look at that because there were some things though that we're talking about. I think it was more like digitized stuff or,
Yeah.
electric signage
Yeah,
or,
well, the smart traffic signals was at least a nod to that.
yeah. I mean, I don't know if the innovation, this first couple sentences, well, the first sentence, I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's not innovation.
I'm not sure. Well, the equestrian use might be. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, it might be, but I mean, the adjacent to parks, wetlands, wildlife, walking paths, that's not really innovation. It's a wonderful thing, but
Mm-mm.
it might
So we
seem
need-
like it's a new thing to be outside. But it's really
So
not.
we can get rid of the first sentence and just say our plans for the Greenway would.
Oh, come on, stop it. Our plans would include environment education opportunities through appreciation of adjacent
Yeah.
resources.
Mhm.
Adjacent conservation resources or,
Environmental and conservation.
And historical.
So environmental and historical, whatever.
They have a little library on the Manhan Trail.
Mhm.
That's innovation.
Yeah, would be for this town.
I'm just laughing because my neighbors, I live next to the horse farm and they are not into the idea of riding horses.
I know.
But
How about if we move this? How about if we move the last sentence up to the top?
Yeah. Yep,
Just
yep,
because
because
that's,
it's a little bit more innovative.
I mean, it would at least get
Just a
us
little bit.
there. We're just saying we're exploring it. We're not committing to anything.
Yeah. Mhm.
We'll explore feasibility or, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, we're not committing to it, but
Okay.
I
So
think
how
it's
about
fine to
our
say
plans
that.
would also include,
the truth is that what's going to be happening is any place where there's going to be a parking place, they're thinking about putting charging things,
right,
right? That's just going to be the way it is. Grocery stores, little shops, there, X
Yep.
number of parking places, you put a meter.
right. Yep.
So,
Somebody has to pay for the electricity part of it, however, which is the
That's
town,
right.
which that's the challenge.
So we just said we'll explore. Right?
Yep.
Explore, yep.
Oh, all righty.
By 2027,
What?
there might be only electronic cards at that point. I don't know, pretty
no,
soon.
you
there'll be
do it on
stuff
your
selling
credit
gas
card
cards.
now. Use your credit card now.
It's true.
Yeah.
So anyhow, moving on to the next section.
Yeah, I was gonna suggest not completed before June 22. I don't think that's real. September's more real.
And
I
that's when
think-
this grant award would be, or
Yeah.
for August.
Or put by September. How's that? Would that do
No, I
it?
think they're awarding this grant in August, so
Oh,
I just instead
August,
of,
okay. Yeah.
or could you take it out?
Well, that's a point.
The reason I'm saying is because it's been stated multiple times before.
But this is readiness. How ready are we? So. The town intends to,
we
Could we
do list
instead
it,
say Mass DOT has allocated blah, blah, blah through
What
the
we-
Transportation Improvement Program, which is contingent upon sourcing funds for design and engineering or permitting. And
we want August there rather than September.
I'm
You
saying,
can also say, may be completed by
before.
May 2022. That would be the earliest.
huh, what?
You know what I'm saying? Instead of focusing on when it's gonna, instead of saying, well, we think it's gonna be done by September, you can say, well, it may be done by May.
Oh,
If you put May.
It may be completed by May.
No, okay, you go. I'm losing it here. All right. Will be
Be
done,
on
estimate
or before
everything
September.
completed. And the
You
closing
can
will
just say
be,
I-
before. You can just say
Before.
before.
how
Don't
about,
need on or.
Yeah, before.
come on, before, can I do
September.
September?
Yeah.
Yep.
And what about back up here, though? Do we need to say that same sentence?
It should be the same month.
But why do we need to
But
say
we
it
don't,
twice?
it's a duplicate, so we can get rid of
Get
at
rid of the
least the
top
date
one.
part of it. That,
Get rid
that
of it.
sentence in the first paragraph just ended corridor. Currently finalizing acquisition of the rail corridor, period. And get rid of, and this should be completed by August
Yes.
20.
Yeah, period. Yep. Yep.
I mean, I don't know, I guess it's kind of pertinent to project readiness, but I don't know that the rail line not being used for however many years is
True.
definitely needed in the project readiness paragraph.
Agree.
Yep. Yep.
Like, I
All
think
it
if we're
means is
trying to
that
go
there's-
concise, I think
There's
we're,
more cleanup that we gotta do before we, more trees to get out of the way.
So we want to keep mentioning the tip.
and just to throw myself under the bus, I'm the queen of wordiness. I love writing too much.
Do we, back up top, do we mention the tip thing again, the 6 million again? Mass DOT is allocated.
I think
think I
that's,
have-
I think even putting in the project number.
Okay,
And if you want to just list it there, I'll go back and add it later. If you don't want to.
Yeah, don't, yeah,
Just
I
do a
think
note
like,
there.
if you, I think stating the project ID number is helpful, and I'm pulling it up.
that's okay. We got a little more to do here. Oy. PNC, the PRC or PNC or something was a different thing. But, all right, so we did before September here. What's attached? RFQ. Okay, so this is, so what do we want to attach? I don't think we're gonna attach the RFQ.
So yeah, I think we should get rid of that sentence, period.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, maybe we'll attach the SOW, draft SOW, but and they do want you to mention in the narrative whatever you're attaching though.
Yeah.
But again, you know, here we are again, we're giving this Did you just add that? Thank you, Kate.
I'm just fixing it, project.
So do we need to say this, the rail corridor acquisition again?
no,
No,
All
I
right.
think we said, we're like
Yep.
highlighting the fact that it's incomplete. I think we
Yeah, I
should
mean,
say it like once or twice.
Right, I agree.
that's good.
Yeah. Okay.
And
So down below, the two paragraphs starting with portions, I thought we should move.
we want to delete, I think it's okay to delete Southampton has completed prior engineering studies. Because we said that already also.
Where, here?
Yeah, that,
Yeah,
we've said that several times already.
Get rid of it?
yep.
Yeah.
Should the paragraph about the feasibility study go in line with the time? Like, I feel like there's a timeline here and we go from like 2011 to 2022 to 2011, 2017. Like, I almost feel like that third paragraph could go in the first paragraph.
Well, we do list feasibility study in the first paragraph in 2011. Whether you want to add that immediately after that or not.
This is it. Project readiness, okay.
Your point is well taken.
I'm just like reading it and
So Kate, going in, you want that where? What do you want?
I was thinking maybe following the completion of the feasibility study, like go and in order of time.
But it is, no? 11, 14, 17, no?
No. And
No, the second paragraph.
so see how the first paragraph is talking about 2011?
Uh-huh,
So if we insert that after the first sentence in the first paragraph,
well, then you gotta break up the environmental site part, because that's an 18.
Well, yeah,
You want me to do that? Is it okay if I just,
Sure, go for it.
rework.
Take control.
And this is another one where we can get rid of that, maybe we took it out already. The rail line was completed in
Yeah.
1863.
mhm.
So the paragraph starting with portions, I don't know if we're there yet.
No, and let's look at this first paragraph here a minute, because
Sorry.
I think we've got a feasibility study, public outreach meetings, and a phase 1 environmental study, so some of that paragraph's got to be combined better, tidied up better. Because you've got the environmental feasibility study, then you jump to 18, so
I'm
so that would just be the phase 1 environmental study, you know, or site assessment or whatever begins anew, or it's the last thing that happened or something like that.
yep, I'll tweak it.
Yep, okay.
Mhm.
The rail banking, we got this craziness here again, the right of way. So again, now this is project readiness. So what did we treat that under before? Why wouldn't this be project readiness versus what we said before?
I think those were,
Or is that where we've just been editing so much I'm going blind on it now?
I think that's what's happening.
Okay, it could be. All right. I mean, I think this part about I don't remember putting the railroad's attorney, I don't remember writing this in here just now, but I think I changed to September. So, okay, maybe that's fine. Environmental risk, project readiness.
So, basically what we're doing is we're putting all of the things that have been done up to now in order, according
Right.
to time, right?
Right.
And then, and the very last thing is the rail banking agreement,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
right? So, and we've said that, in a way, we've said it twice, right? Let's see. The town is currently finalizing acquisition of the rail corridor, and then right at the beginning, both the town's attorney and the are currently finalizing. So you got to get rid of one of those two sentences and put it all put it in the same paragraph, because it's just one thing after another in order,
Mm-hmm.
right?
I would think so. And this still needs some more.
I have another Zoom meeting
I'm
at
doing,
6.
I'm retyping it in a different, I'm retyping this in a different document.
Okay.
So
Okay,
Yeah. So Diana, you got to scoot out. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
yeah.
Yeah, I gotta go to CPT now, so.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
Basically,
Important.
Good
Yeah.
luck.
Thank you very much for all your help on this, Diana.
yep.
Okay, bye-bye.
I think
Bye.
we're basically done. What, we can go back and tidy that up when we're not going cross-eyed, but
So we're down here in environmental risk here somewhere is where we are. No, well, not quite.
I'm sorry, I stepped away for a second. There are two paragraphs I thought that should move down to the environmental section. I apologize for stepping.
Okay.
away. So
Okay.
the one that starts with portions
Okay.
and then,
I'm
and then
like
one,
gonna try, so that first paragraph, I'm like
Okay.
redoing like a few sentences in a different document because I don't want to lose the original content.
Okay. I'll work on the second part that Mark's talking about. So you're doing on the portions down below.
I should be able to do this in a second.
yeah.
there's two paragraphs that I think are more appropriate in the environmental section below.
So cut those out of here.
Yeah, portions, and then the one that starts as an early environmental coordinating design submission.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see if we can do that here. Hold on.
And put it after the first paragraph.
Okay. Okay. Well, get out of here. Get out of here. I'm trying to get rid of this thing here. Come on. All right. So I'm going to cut this here.
Yeah.
And you want it where?
Um,
In the
At the-
environmental.
environmental risk, section B, but it's as the second and third paragraph. It's after the first paragraph.
After the first paragraph?
Yep. And I think we can get rid of the last paragraph in that section.
Hold on. Oy.
Yeah.
Okay, I just did this. Not letting me do something here. Come on. Come on now. Okay, you want to get rid of this 3.5 mile, this thing?
Yep, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
Going away.
Bye-bye.
What are you doing? Hi. I'm just gonna get these couple others here. Well, we got them here. So, let's see what happens here. Okay. So where are you at, Kate? Are you with us?
Yep. Public outreach.
Still working. I don't know if you want to, are you finished, Kate, or still working?
Still working on it.
Keeps me on. Okay,
So the last section. Which
You
if
can, let me know how you think this is. So it'll be the first one. On the completion of the feasibility study.
How about following its completion
Yes,
and get rid of the feasibility study in 2011?
following its completion of project notification form. I'm just gonna see if that public outreach sentence needs to go somewhere else. And then,
Yeah. We've said public outreach in the first sentence.
so then we want to just take that out.
I think it's okay, yep.
I think that crunches that down a little bit.
So environmental study followed by an engineering review of 2 bridges and 11 culverts. Yeah. Yeah, that seems to do that better, I think.
Thank you.
You can erase that. Good. Yeah. So
Oh, shoot. So it says, I didn't read the paragraph below it. So.
just
should we
take out your,
the sentence.
yep, just take that out. Right. That looks better anyway. We'll look at it one more time probably as we go through this, but that definitely reads more chronologically. Yep. Thank you. Okay, and then Mark, with a couple changes you moved around, does that make a flow now?
I think so. I can,
Mhm.
Oh, so there's a sentence here.
Yeah, we got some ADA stuff in here.
So I don't know if that's relevant to project readiness.
Yeah, well,
which one?
that fourth paragraph begins the same as your first paragraph. The town has sought this rail project for over a decade and completed various studies. So I think that first 2 sentences, or that first sentence up to 2017 would go away.
I think the only thing
Yes.
that might be important to lift out of that last paragraph is the most recent endorsement by this community.
Right. So I think that, yeah, that
Everything else is redundant.
I think just getting rid of the first sentence.
the first sentence goes away completely. The first 2 sentences. Right here, these 2.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, I'll kill them right now since I'm in there.
Yeah.
But then do we want to, okay,
Is that 74% expressed elsewhere?
I don't think so.
I didn't
Then
think so.
in
No.
the second sentence, you want to say support was further solidified.
I just want to look at so it says project readiness. Well, I guess the community support is part of that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Strategies of the town, of those responding.
what is partners? I'm just trying to think if that goes there or somewhere else. Like, is that a project readiness?
I
Or
think it does. I think it's saying the town is ready to
the
move.
town is ready 10 years ago.
We really want this.
Yeah. Okay, then what here?
We might not need this stuff.
I feel like
It's
briefly
basically,
stating that public input has been sought.
Yeah, I mean, you could,
I mean, it weakens the argument because what you're saying here is that there was
Yeah.
a time when the community didn't support it.
Yes,
Right.
exactly.
don't really
I was
need
just
to
saying,
know
like,
that.
Public input has been,
Right?
yeah, yeah,
I mean,
this is,
you can say this stuff about the large increase in our population, like our town is really growing.
yeah, I think I would take out this paragraph I highlighted there.
Yeah,
yeah, I think so.
Okay,
yeah.
Yep.
okay, since, so not even the
And
population.
you can just,
Yeah.
say that- yeah, just say the population of Southampton
Yep.
has increased. Or you could say recently, the population of Southampton.
Well, we don't even need that, right? That's, that whole sentence isn't needed.
I think you could take the last sentence of that paragraph. At a recent town meeting, residents voted to allocate. I feel like that's its own.
Yeah, I think that reinforces the previous paragraph and ends it on a very strong note.
Yes, I agree. Just like make it about how we just
And-
got
and-
$270,000 for funding.
Yeah.
So we get rid of this part altogether?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, let's try that. Then we tie
Did we
it,
mention that? And sorry, you might have said this, but did we mention about the Mass Trails funding?
not, we didn't name it. We've mentioned
what-
2 grants.
We mentioned
what
2
funding?
state grants and a total of $200,000.
Yeah.
We didn't
I
name,
just didn't know if it would go here.
we didn't name the grant programs. We named the fact that we had 2 other grants. 2
But,
other,
I mean, should that also be included here?
I don't know. I feel like, well, I mean, if we put it anywhere, we should put it up in that first paragraph when you're listing the milestones. We got this grant, we got that grant. You know, I don't know.
Mhm.
It could be listed at the end of the first paragraph or right before the last sentence in the last paragraph.
We could say,
And you remember, there's a whole section on prior, funding.
Funding, yeah. So
We have said that already.
keep in mind too, if this is a federal person reading this, they aren't gonna have a clue what CPA funding is.
well, I did describe it up above in another paragraph at the funding section.
All right, so. What are we thinking here?
You
Yeah,
know, you
she's-
should say Southampton residents really don't want to pay for a lot of things, but they wanted to pay for this.
Really? Um,
Yeah, I like that.
What you
They'll make it more
what you-
relevant to the federal person reading this.
Again, what's the
The-
topic we're trying to address here? The
I
readiness?
think the question is whether she would list the 2 $100,000 grants we got from the state in this section or not.
I mean, it's project readiness, right? So if we're going to talk about funding or appropriation of funding, I think.
But that was for the rail corridor. That's, I mean, we're telling them that we're getting this thing. Do they really care how we got the money to acquire it?
No, you're right.
We mentioned the
Yeah.
grants earlier in passing without a lot of detail.
Mhm.
Because we're focusing on beyond the acquisition now. So I don't
Yeah, you're right.
Mhm.
I wonder if even this last sentence should be in here at all.
Well, I do think it shows that the town is committed to it.
Okay,
Yeah, I agree.
okay, well, let's leave that then, but let's not put in any other grant stuff here.
Okay.
Okay, environmental risk, did we change this enough yet or not yet? Did I move something or did I do whatever
You
here?
moved 2 paragraphs down.
Okay, I did that. All right, get out of there. Whoa,
You know, with the environmental risk, there was a sentence that was elsewhere that, and maybe it got deleted out, but it's about how the existing infrastructure makes it so there's actually not a lot of disruption to the natural environment. And I feel like that's what they're trying to get at with environmental risk. Not that I'm saying that it's the reducing like hydrocarbon or, you know, hydrocarbon used by individual cars isn't important, but
Mhm.
I'm not sure exactly.
I mean, you are saying that we believe that the increased use will decrease the environmental burdens of hydrocarbon use by individual cars or by cars. You get rid of individual.
So under the merit section, they have environmental sustainability, and they reference reduced air pollution, greenhouse gases, sustainability, resilience of at-risk infrastructure, reduce vehicle miles traveled, promote energy efficiency, fiscally responsible use of land and transportation, electrification, recycling. So at least in the merit section, that's what the reference was.
Mhm.
But you know, part of this, to Caitlin's point, what they're really asking is, what is the risk to the environment of this project?
But let's keep in mind, let's go back and take a look, maybe after we're done, in the NOFO thing, because I remember reading somewhere that
that's what I'm looking-
environmental
looking
risk
back at
only
too.
applied for construction projects.
Oh, you might be right. Oh.
I don't think this even needs to be in there. We'll check that.
I'll have to check that, yeah.
I read somewhere, I read too many of these things, but I'm,
But if we did need to write a paragraph,
I mean, yeah.
we could include the portion, well, wetlands protection. That's not something we've done yet, right?
well, we've talked about it a little bit. We have, I mean.
Yeah,
we
this
were-
is a little bit more specific, but we, you know, those two are very different topics than the first paragraph.
Right, so this environmental, but I mean, anything with the environmental is, I mean, maybe some of this stuff, you know, talking about all the MEPA and the whatever stuff here in these last paragraphs, maybe it can go up under an environmental section rather than being here. I don't know. Let's check
I
that, because
think,
something
I
tells me.
think you're right. We should look at the NOFA, and see
Yeah.
what exactly they were asking for.
I'm thinking we were exempt on this one, but I could be wrong. It all got jumbled into something. But if we think that that's, you know, relevant, some of that, I mean, maybe it can move up elsewhere under was there an environmental something up here? Yeah,
Yeah,
Wait,
again, it's not a merit. It's not a merit. I mean, basically what you're saying
Yeah.
is that you're going to be doing due diligence.
right. Okay,
Well,
well,
there's,
maybe it's necessary, maybe it's not. I don't remember. I may be confusing it with the cost benefit thing.
I think the first step is to find out what they're asking
Yeah,
for this section.
right. Just
And
to be
what we
clear
need to, yeah.
that we're really answering their question, whatever their concern might be that they want us to address in there. Yeah.
Otherwise, we're just spinning our wheels here.
Correct. Okay. So let's jump on cost benefit. I think you're right. We should just at least acknowledge that we aren't ignoring it, but it doesn't seem to be required for us. That's fine. All right. And then we need that timeline. So that will be that one page. We'll get rid of that extra page in that Excel workbook that you had. And now the project map, you've got one in this application. They said something about again, it's okay to embed maps in the application as long as they were JPEG or PDF or something. So
I think
there's
it would
only
be excellent to put a project map of the regional trail network in that paragraph, if
Well,
that's a possibility.
well, that's a question, because I think we've got this map already in there. I just want to be sure that however you
Well,
got
That's
that.
that's an interesting additional map.
Which
You
one?
know, just because like so say if somebody is looking at this from Minnesota and we're Massachusetts, right? Like
Mhm.
the Westfield versus New Haven, all of that is going to be
Mhm.
really,
Right. So,
And we used one for the last grant, right? But I
Yeah.
didn't see it.
Yep.
When
That
I,
would be a good, that would be a good one.
yep, I can pull that out and find it. I think I'm sure somewhere. Whoops, what happened there? Oh, what's going on?
and we can do that as an attachment or embed it.
Yeah, if you think it, you know, if you wanted it as an embed, you'd have to tell me where you want it.
Right behind the other map.
Yeah,
But it's fine also in the attachments.
okay. Well, so just jot me down what was the name of the map we were looking for? Because we had a couple we
Yes.
used.
It was Regional Trail Network, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which
I've got it in my other main files. It's in under Mass Trails folder rather than under
Mhm.
this one, because I've got these in
Mhm.
here a couple of times. Regional trail work map. Okay, I'll be sure of which one that was. And then the project photos, we have those 3 or 4 that we want to use again.
Yeah.
I put them I transferred them to this folder,
Yeah, I saw
the
them in
raised
there.
folder.
Right, and we've got the structural study, we got the environmental study, and we got to check this out as the SOW rather. And then letters of support.
Neil
Okay.
Warren and.
Huh?
There's a Neil Warren and Markey.
Yeah.
or who did it-
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, you were going to check out with Bellis, right? Or no?
Oh, I had not done anything. I thought we had said
I
that
can.
maybe Ed had
Yeah, okay. I'll
Okay.
follow up with him too. They were.
But-
None of these guys have been terribly quick responses, but who knows? I mean, I thought we should go a little bit higher up, this time
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's federal.
Yep. It's a
So-
federal grant.
Someone had mentioned actually the idea of actually contacting the state or regional Department of Transportation people and going back to PVPC people dealing with the transportation to make sure they know we're applying for this. So, because they may be called into loop saying, is this really a priority? And I don't mind contacting them.
So somebody from PVPC.
And I think there's a regional person in Northampton for the Department of Transportation.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, we've got somebody we've been working with our let's compare notes on that, because the person we've been working with for DOT for the sidewalk in front of the cemetery.
Okay,
So we've had various DOT people that we've been talking to between that and the East Street Bridge. So
so maybe, yeah, you or Ed can do that. And PVPC, I have spoken to them within the last month and a half.
and who
So
are
I can-
who are you talking to up there? Do you know?
At the end of this, I'm blanking, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
It's a Jeffrey
mean-
McCullough, actually. Jeffrey McCullough, I believe.
Okay. All right. Well, tell you what, why don't,
And we don't necessarily need a letter from them, but it'd be, if they say what grant was submitted, we weren't aware of this, it doesn't look good.
yeah. Okay, I'll check with Ed on the DOT folks, and if you check with PVPC, and then we'll compare notes, okay?
Okay, great.
On that. All right, that's good.
Especially if we say in our application that we've been communicating with all of them.
Then, so then we've got, what else do we have here?
Can I add one other thing?
Yeah,
I
go
did
ahead.
look back at the NOFA about this, the environmental risk, and they don't have much information in not much
Nope.
language about it.
I was just looking at that too. I'm like, well, that's not very helpful.
Yeah, there's really not much language, so I think it's our own form of creativity.
Yeah, well, then I think we could maybe shorten all the, alphabet soup in that a little bit and,
Okay.
just take out, put in what's really relevant, but keep that section in there, but maybe it could be tighter.
Okay,
with all the all the alphabets, it gets a little confusing. Okay, so that's the good run through on this. Going to check in on the budget part. I don't know. Dan may be right that we may not need to break out the budget. They're not asking for it. So let's not give them more than they're asking for.
Mhm.
Totally agree. So that eliminates the whole Excel spreadsheet except for the time factor one. There is that other crazy cover page or two that's in yellow highlight, which you had started to fill out. I think that it's more me and Ed filling in all the right blanks on that.
I think it's all done
Okay.
except some town data.
Okay.
EIN number and stuff.
Okay. There was another one, the other form that was another cover form.
There's a 424 and there's a raised information form.
Yeah, the information form. That was one. I don't know. Could you bring that up or anybody see that handy? I had it here. I don't know where my files have gone now. I had them in a folder, and of course, hang on. Oh, maybe I have it. Hang on. I do have. I thought I got it. I got it right here. Sorry. If I can share it. Let's see if I can minimize that guy here. Hold on a minute. Was here a minute ago? Yeah, I got it now. Didn't go away. I was just hiding.
Right.
So this is the one. Okay, so this is going to be our title going forward for anything we're talking about with this. Do we need to say Greenway / rail trail, or I'm just trying to shorten it when they're talking concise?
I think the federal people are willing to fund a rail trail, but won't necessarily know what we mean by Greenway.
Okay. I would then maybe suggest we just take out Greenway part.
That's fine.
That sounds good to me. Okay. And then I didn't look, we've got, so this description, no more than 100 words. So
It's 95 words. And I think it can be shortened because some of it goes back to referencing the merit criteria, which I don't think we have to do in this section.
I don't think we want that in there, because this is, if you look at what they gave us for examples here, is like, from point A to point B. I mean, it's very succinct. I mean, I don't think
this is like what they would put when they release the funding. I saw this for Mass Trails. When they publish what they gave money for, this is what they publish.
Yeah. So this could be, I think, reduced a bit here.
I think it would be worth saying, and for a new rail trail greenway and a 3.5 mile length of an active railroad corridor in Southampton, which would provide the connection between
Westfield and.
I have this as a separate Word document I can send to people or put in the folder if it's easier to work that way. I have this as a separate Word document.
Okay.
Yeah,
it would be probably, because this is an Excel or something, right? Which is kind of, it's hard to edit these things. Okay, so that we can just tighten up a bit. I think, everything else rural. I had a couple questions later on though, so we'll just scroll down. You did answer most of these things. Why are you not wanting to scroll? Come on.
The one thing I was reading in the NOFO that I thought was interesting was about how they can't use more than 50% of the money, the funding towards urban versus rural projects.
Right.
Which I think is a really good thing, because I read a lot of the projects and a lot of them were very urban areas.
Yep.
And the urban ones are expensive.
I was gonna say 66, $100 million. I was like, wow, we're very small.
Right. So this is we're planning. We've got $1 million. That's fine. Identify the county. I don't know. Let's put the county first before Massachusetts at least. Because or was this a drop down? Do you remember, Mark?
This is which section of this? I apologize.
At number 9, it says where the project is located in using the drop down. So maybe when we get online, it'll be a drop
if
down.
it's drop down, it only gives you certain options.
Okay, so maybe Massachusetts does come first, because there's probably more than one Hampshire county in the world, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Why is that 1,001 invalid?
Say what?
See that $1 million number 8 is invalid. If you go up, see?
Oh yeah. What's the little what is it? Input must fall within the specified range. Maybe it doesn't need $1.
It has a drop down. Check the drop down and see if it gives you an option that is the.
Yeah, the Mass Hampshire County is the way it goes.
No, let's try this now. Where'd it go?
up
Did I lose
here.
it? Hang on.
No, it's right there. Next one down, whoops,
Up or down? Down?
down, right there, right there.
Right there,
Whoops.
cap.
Up, it's number 8.
Yeah,
Here
so
we go.
amount requested.
Planning,
Must be greater than equal to. Yeah.
that's weird. It's just so weird.
Enter the total amount of raised funds requested for this project.
So then enter, like enter $1 million and see what happens now that it says planning.
Might have been copy pasted there.
I wonder if it doesn't take dollar signs and
Oh,
commas.
Let me try changing that.
Yep, that doesn't work.
you know,
Okay.
when you first opened it up, it was $1 million with no commas.
Yeah. So do we get rid of planning?
Yeah, and put in $1 million with no commas and see
I
what
think
happens.
you're right. Let's try
Yeah, I was gonna say, or you could go back. You could just say back, and maybe it'd let you do it.
Oh,
One more
okay.
zero, I don't know. Then we gotta make sure we get them.
Huh, what's going on here? Gonna delete that and try 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nope, it keeps coming up as a problem. Select
Mm.
using the drop down.
I think we're
So-
gonna have to mess
So I
with it.
think if you, oh, I
And
can't
so-
do it.
Yeah, select, but the drop down doesn't give you any money, so maybe it comes in later. I don't know. But it says enter the total amount of raised funds requested for this project. See section B2. That's weird.
So do me a favor, click on like any open spot over here on the right. And just hit Control C.
Mm-hmm.
Now go into the planning thing
Yeah,
and click on it. And highlight it and just hit Control V.
yellow. What?
Will let
That-
you.
It's not clicking on anything.
I'm like trying to like click on the screen to see if it's like a fixed field.
Okay,
No,
Let you type in there now.
well, I tried that before, but
And
now
this
it's
is
empty.
number,
Yeah, but you got rid of the little arrow for the drop down. There you go.
hey.
What?
I think you
how
got
did that
it.
happen? How did that happen?
Because you got rid of, so you had it set so you could only select from a drop down. So I had you copy a blank field in there. So it got rid of
There
the
you
drop
go.
down.
Oh, I didn't set anything,
And
but
it's-
okay.
And it's valid now. So-
All right.
I
Well,
may have done that.
is that the right number of zeros, guys?
I know, really.
I
can't
just
have-
throw another one in there for the heck of it.
Yeah, right. Should I put in a
There's
commas just in
zeros.
case?
I said, by the time this project is done, you might need another zero.
Yeah. Shall I put commas in there?
Well, it didn't, oh, I don't know, that's interesting.
Seems to like it okay now.
It likes it. Let's leave it alone. They'll figure it out. Maybe. Maybe. Okay. Oh, that's interesting to know. Okay. Oh gosh, come on now. See, it's popping up on me. What's not happening here? Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. All right, we're in the census block. Why are some of these things blue, Kate? Do you know?
It's a link. If you, it's because
Okay.
it's a link. So it's
Okay.
gonna bring you to the,
All right, so you guys found Mark, you found the census tract then?
Yes.
Yeah.
This 8225. Okay, got it. All right.
so that's probably to help you find the census tract.
Yeah, so we can probably just say no here. We probably don't have to say the whole thing, do we?
Can, oh, for the other census tracts?
This project located in an area of persistent poverty
Can no.
without saying all the rest of the,
Was that a drop down?
That
well,
looks like a drop down.
I think it was a drop down.
no, it's a link.
My memory is that actually was one of the options they gave you with the drop down. I don't know.
Okay, we'll leave it alone for now. Because the next one just says no. So.
Again, when we actually do this online, we may have to re-enter all
Yeah,
this stuff rather
right.
than be able to cut and paste. So
Could be, yep. So we got the zip, we got longitude, latitude, we're good. Not a federally designated zone. Bicycle pedestrian trail, that was an option,
as a drop down.
okay. Discretionary, no, and see here we got total project cost, so that's interesting.
Yeah.
Total
wonder if
cost of
that-
the project.
The whole thing?
Fund, sum of federal funding and total non-federal funding. So there's a question, because on that form, this, the yellow form, the other cover form, somewhere I think I saw you had 120,000.
Oh, you know what? That was when I had calculated based on before I got your memo back. So that needs to be changed.
Okay, so do we want to say just a million or 1,100,000 or just a million, right?
Or does
Just
this
a million.
include the 6 million?
Well, total cost of
What
the
do they mean by
project.
project?
Well, the project is not construction. What we're applying for is,
Planning.
no, it's just what we're focusing on the application for. So not the 6 million, I wouldn't say, but
So does it include the funding that the town has allocated?
well, we had said that we could put in a 10% cost share if we thought we wanted to. So if we are saying we want to put that in there, then this should read 110,000.
I think we should leave it as the million.
I think leaving it as, now that we're just talking through that, I think leaving it as the million is fine.
Okay, then
And
I
if it
wa-
ends up being more, we stated that we would put in the extra money.
okay, so we'll change that on that other form, but then I guess we'll just have to be careful when we enter this in as to whether that box was really a drop down that only lets us put in the planning because the dollar amount is down here now. You know, even though we wiped out that drop down box, Kate, maybe it, I don't know. Maybe it was meant to just be planning if you've got a total down here now, but this is federal funding, so I don't know. Amount of committed to non-federal sources, so we're gonna say no. Tribal government, no. Tribal benefits, no. There was something here, okay, so no private. I was gonna ask Ed, because at some point, we wouldn't go out for this, so I think we're okay on this. For this part, we wouldn't go out for any kind of loan. Eventually, when we're doing the construction, we may have to go out for loan, because our 6 million may not cover it, but that's down the road, so I think we're okay.
It's not a rehab, to RIF, I think that's for actually rehabbing railroads that are being used.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it could be, but this other, the TIFIA one might apply eventually. Not for this, but when we get into construction. And like I say, if the 6 million doesn't cover it. Department Finance, sure, if they want to tell us anything, sure, why not? Why not? What else is
Well,
here? Anything? Is that it?
A minor thing about this,
Yeah,
if we're gonna just use this document and send it in, you gotta change the title and get rid of draft. They
Okay.
said specifically, you
me
have
go
to
back
leave the
up.
title the same.
oh, yeah. Right. Uh-huh.
Maybe we should change that now, yeah.
And this was
So-
their form itself, the raise info form,
It's a raise info form, yeah.
and one was there or not?
I don't think I added that, to be honest. I would need to, I can do a little research. I have to check.
We'll double check that,
I'd
yeah.
say leave it in for now, but
Yep, okay, well, that's good. Yeah, because this gives some things here. Okay, good. All right, well, that gets us a little bit there. All right, well, guys, well, I think we got, a good a good whack at this. And I'm gonna stop recording right now, and frankly,
This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.